Hi!
Hello!
Hello!
I'm Kaylee, and today I have Tim and Katie. And before we get started into our chat today, I was going to go ahead and ask Tim and Katie to kind of introduce themselves and also talk about what their channel is about here on YouTube. And their link is in the description box down below.
Awesome.
Hey! So, we're Tim and Katie. In case you thought we weren't being creative, we took a couple letters out of Katie's name for our channel name, so that'll show you.
Yeah.
Mostly, like, we're primarily like an adventure vlog channel. We specialize kind of in theme parks, and we go out to a lot of theme parks during the peak season. During the off season, we do smaller attractions, like we go on hikes, we check out national parks, we check out state parks, we do local attractions and tourists hot spots. So do a little bit of everything, but mostly we just bring smiles to people.
Just like to do stuff.
They have some really great vlogs. I personally really enjoy their Hershey Park vlogs because I've always wanted to go to Hershey Park. But they have a lot of great content. And April is here with us. Hey, April!
Hello!
Hey, April!
Funny story, April. We were backstage, and Tim says that sometimes he mixes up people's real names and their YouTube names. And he said, sometimes I say Thrifty April Mom. But isn't that what you say? Or Thrifty?
Yeah, Thrifty April Mom.
Thrifty April Mom.
In my private conversations with myself, I confuse channel names and actual names since I know everyone a little bit now, so.
Okay, so this chat today is going to be about the latest episode of WandaVision. So if you've not seen that, oh yes, let's look at Tim and Katie's shirts real quick. Go ahead and show your shirts, guys.
Up in the
brand. Panic bought a bunch of WandaVision merch that we may never wear again after the show is over, but it's definitely flashy and cool to wear right now.
Yes. Now y'all have 2 new shirts for next week too, right?
Yes.
Because we're not outfit repeaters.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm an outfit repeater.
I'm totally an outfit repeater.
I'm a terrible repeater. And I know, like, a lot of people I watch are like, yeah, I'm not an outfit repeater. And I'm, like, sitting here, I'm like, ooh, because I am. I'm a really bad outfit repeater. April says she likes your name for her, Tim. And hey, Christina. Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome, Christina.
Yes. Now, where did you guys get your shirts at?
Split purchase from Amazon and Kohl's, because that's where cheap stuff comes from really quickly.
Kohl's has a good, I don't know, Disney line or whatever.
Yeah, all of it is actual Marvel merch, but it's through like this is manufactured on demand, so it was like printed by Amazon and sent to us as quickly as they could get it out, which just happened to be in time for the chat.
Really quick.
Well, I'm happy. I wish I could have gotten one, but then I was like, y'all really tempted me because I saw how cute they were, and I was like, do I need to get a WandaVision shirt? But no, I actually just went out and bought a bobblehead.
It's so cute though.
Which mine's less functional, but yeah, this was the Vision. Now I actually have 2 of these, and I'm gonna give one of them away if I can ever get my videos together. I'm gonna give one of them away because I bought 2. Because on Amazon, I think there was like a chance to get a chaser where it was like a vision, like of him as the Vision and not like his disguise self. So I was hoping to get one of each, and I didn't. So I was like, it's okay. Like, I was planning on doing a giveaway anyways, so it works out. Hey, Morgan, I got your name right this time. Christina says she loves Kohl's. I actually don't think there's a Kohl's near me anymore, but I would love to see their stuff because I didn't know they had a Disney line.
Have online shopping.
I did not think that we ordered through online Kohl's, and I did not think that. I think yours is the one that came from Kohl's.
Yeah.
Like, I did not think it would get here in time because I ordered it with like 3 days lead time, but it did, and here we are. So everything worked out.
It worked out. It worked out perfectly. Hey, Jeanna Claire. She asked, how did you get that? Are you talking about the pop or the shirt? Probably.
I think she wants the pop.
The pop is from Amazon. I can't remember the seller. But I can send it to you after the show if you're interested. And the shirts, they said they got a mix from Amazon and Kohl's. So that is where. Hey, Allie. I'm happy you were able to make it. And hello. So life joyfully done. You guys are so great. Yeah, Isabel. As John was there. I know Isabel.
I know it was the
Isabel
It
is
is.
Isabel is like, where'd you get that pop? No, but it's from Amazon. Like I said though, I'll send you the seller when I get off. Really quickly before we start talking about the episode, I want to say, because it drives me crazy a little personally, if my eyes look funny, if I look like I'm looking away.
You look fine.
Okay. So let me just say, my computer died. My computer, let me see if I can reach it, is gone on to a better place. Oh gosh. Okay. This is what it looks like. Okay. So I had an issue with it this morning, and basically I'm on my iPad, and yeah, so I'm kind of discombobulated, and I'm really weird about where eyes are when you're doing chats. I was telling Tim and Katie that. I'm like, I know that sounds so crazy, but I feel like I'm gonna look so odd. So I'm sorry in advance if you're one of those people like me that gets kind of like, why are they looking that direction? Like, I'm sorry in advance. Because that's what's going on. But yes, hopefully the computer will get fixed soon, and hopefully I can get my reaction videos up, because it's just a hot mess right now. Okay, but anyways, let's go ahead and get into talking about this episode. So I'm going to start with, what did you guys really like about this episode? Before we get into like the very specific details of like our theories and stuff, what did you guys like about this episode?
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack. I personally, first of all, I really liked that instead of every episode up to this point has sent us back in time emotionally, in the sense of you build and you build and you build, and then you have this awful cliffhanger where you're like, oh, how is this going to get resolved next week? And then the following week, it's like it never happened, and we're back in a different format, and you have to start building that emotional roller coaster all over again. So I like that this week, for obvious reasons, if everyone is caught up, we just jumped right into the action. I also like, this is a very emotional episode.
Yeah.
Definitely the most emotional so far. So we're sitting there like on the couch, like trying not to ugly cry the whole episode.
No, I definitely ugly cried.
No.
It definitely happened.
We have like shrimp tacos, and we're like,
I put my taco down and was like, put my head in my hand. I think you actually had to pause it for a second.
I did.
We were afraid you were going to miss it, because I had to start
And I was afraid you were going
to
to rub cilantro in your eye, but
yeah, there was a couple of I thought the dialogue between Wanda and Vision when she was back at like the Avengers campus, and he was, talking to her, and they were interacting. You see like their budding relationship start to form. When Vision says, this robot that, what does he know about like human emotion or whatever? I mean, he says, grief is just love persevering. That took me down. Put the taco down, and that's when I started crying, because we've all had, grief hit us in different ways, but I mean, it touched me a certain way, and I was like, wow, that's probably the prettiest thing, the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, and I needed a moment before I could go back to the rest of the show. So yeah.
Yeah. That was really, that quote did really stick out to me as well. And I feel so bad. One of my reactions, I said, I believe it was for episode 2. I was like, oh, I really don't like Vision in this episode, because he annoyed me in episode 2. And every single episode since then, though, I have loved Vision so much. He's one of my favorite characters. We'll get into a little later talking about the whole Vision situation. Wait, did you guys see? Did y'all watch after the credits a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If not, then spoiler there. But yes, hang on. April asked, Haley, did it make you feel better about Wanda? Because I know you had talked about her not being a bad guy. Yeah, I mean, I feel better about her. I feel like last episode we kind of found out that she was still controlling people, because that's what Agatha wants to know, like how she did it all. So I mean, that's still wrong, but I just genuinely don't think she knows how she did it. She's just kind of like, a lot of it was the grief. So I don't feel like she's a bad guy. I feel like if she knows she's controlling people and she was doing that willingly, then like that's obviously wrong. But I don't feel like they're making her a villain, obviously. Because I mean we have Agatha now. But yeah, I love Wanda. I love Wanda. I love Vision. I love the twins that I just want to be okay because they stressed me out this episode. So yes, Christina says that line was amazing. I need it on a shirt.
I love it.
Katie can do that for you.
It's gonna definitely outlive the series.
Oh, okay. Her stealing Vision was staged.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that drove me nuts.
I definitely felt betrayed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, why should I have believed anything that Hayward said?
We should have known better to begin with, but
yeah, no, the scene when they were like walking, when he let her come into his office, I was like, wait a minute. Like, I just knew. I was like, something's happened. Like, he's like, he wants her to bring Vision back. It did go a little bit different than I expected it to go. Now, what I don't understand, maybe I missed something. So she comes back to the car after that scene, and there's that little like note or whatever that is like, it seems like it's from Vision. Okay, am I missing something? How did someone leave her that note? Did she already have that note? How did she?
I think the implication is that she had, like, that was before Infinity War and the events of Endgame and everything that happened in between. I think that was something that Vision had passed off to her. I have to be careful about spoilers because
okay. I already know. Like, I mean, I know it was in Legends, which I know y'all probably, since y'all have seen all of them, you probably didn't watch Legends. But Legends kind of gave like the footnote version of their characters. I said this in one of my previous lives, but let me tell you, my mind was blown when I realized he was the same actor that voiced Jarvis, and how I didn't know this, I don't know.
Yeah.
That will make more sense to you as you get further into the... Okay, you've seen, what, Cap, Iron Man, and the original Avengers, and then the Fox X-Men movies, right? What am I missing anything?
Yeah, well, okay. Now I've seen the old, like the OG X-Men movies, and then I've seen the first remake X-Men movie with like
the first class.
First class, yeah. I've seen First Class.
Okay. So we're not on the Fox side. We're actually very similar because you started watching Days of Future Past, but then you fell asleep, and that never. Okay, so that So. In the MCU, Wanda and Vision's relationship, for the most part, occurs very much off screen. There's a little bit of building in the third Captain America movie, but everything that happens in between Captain America Civil War and Infinity War, which is the next time we see either of them, is basically filled in for us by conversations they have in Infinity War. So they go from being like, basically what we saw in the flashback, hey, you want to be a cuddle buddy and talk things out a little bit, to being like in a full-on relationship, hitting out together. And that, I mean, it was honestly, to me, in Infinity War, and I mean, when you see it, you can tell me what you think of it. But Infinity War, it kind of felt like a shallow relationship to me at first, because I was like, I like that they like each other, but I feel like we don't have very much development here.
Yeah, and it was kind of... Okay, the fact that Vision dies is not a spoiler because
I know that.
Like when Vision, and I love Vision, so of course it was like heartbreaking to watch it happen. But like when she gets so upset, and you're just like, all right, like I get it, I'm upset too, but it is like the emotion. It's a very powerful, moving scene. But like to me, it was almost like going back and seeing this episode, and then like seeing like the after, like literally it's like her grief explodes, and that's what caused, like that was cool, because you had seen like how they fell in love, and the whole like house thing like killed me, because we were watching it and we're like, what is she doing in Westview? And then we're like, oh my god, it's their house, they were supposed to live here. That was the second time I cried.
Second time. Tim's like, let me pause it again.
It was a whole lot of emotion.
Let's move the tacos.
Yeah.
Those tacos are getting more and more dangerous.
Salty tacos.
Episode.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say something about that. Oh, there was a time jump, wasn't there? But for them to, like, you said it was off screen, so it was like a time jump, right? And then
Yes.
I mean,
there were movies in between Civil War and Infinity War. None of them had Wanda and Vision in it.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I'm assuming that it all played out in real time and we just weren't part of it.
Yeah.
And then we came back to it and we're like, oh, cool, they're a couple now.
Yeah.
Eh?
Okay. So
I mean, we know it's got comic book foundation. So
Oh, Morgan's.
Morgan wants
Did
to
we spoil
clarify
something?
that I
Oh,
have
not
No.
Morgan.
because Katie, I don't know if you know this or not, Tim. I feel like you probably do.
Yeah, I saw.
My first live chat, I had said that I had already seen all the like original X-Men movies, and Morgan thought I also meant Logan, so she told me the big bombshell that happens in Logan, which I did not know, and I literally almost cried on camera. I was so upset. I also
But it was an accident. Like,
it was an accident. And Morgan too. She said like, because I was behind in reading the comments, because I always am. I like to like go through all my comments pretty good. And Morgan was like, "You then said you didn't see Logan," and I'd already sent my comment, and I was like, "Oh crap!" She's like, "I was just waiting on you to get to that comment." Christina says, "Don't kill me, but I'm not feeling the twins." My heart.
okay.
So
whatever
whatever you can say whatever you want about Tommy, but Billy is my child, and I will protect him for my life.
I love them both.
I do love them both, but I have a heart for like the sweeties, like the little like boys
one of
that
them
like
is definitely a little terror, and
wear
the
their
other one
heart
is
on their
like,
sleeve and like don't want to
yeah.
like step on a bug and hurt it. Like that is hopefully maybe one day my future child is going to be like that, because that's what I want. He is also, we literally just realized today that the child actor who plays Billy was Luke in the Haunting of Hill House series that we love a lot on Netflix, which has nothing to do with Marvel, but he was
he really?
he
Yeah.
was
Did you see
baby Luke. I've been watching this show, and I'm like,
Okay.
but whatever.
and
Maybe
if
it was
he
on
had
a
put
cover.
on his glasses,
If he had put on glasses, I would have been like,
known.
my baby.
I know. No,
Luke-
oh my god.
Luke was my favorite. So
How long ago was that film though? It was
Not long.
but kids
It
grow up
was
so
different
fast.
to me. Oh my god.
They change so quickly. So he looks so much older, but he is my baby Lukey, and I must protect him.
Yeah.
I don't think the kids themselves are suspicious, but definitely their like existence is very suspicious.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to cut the twins. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so wrong, but
Going to chop my baby.
there's
No,
like,
last episode that was like my main concern. I was like, excuse me, where are the twins? Where are they at? Like, because I love them so much, which is why Christina was terrified to make her comment. But I just got so attached to those twins. Like, once they aged up to like their 10-year-old selves, which are my favorite, I was like, they're just so darn cute. But I like them both. I know Katie has her favorite, but
I mean, I do like them both. I would be sad if something happened to Tommy.
well, I did notice in the show, in that very ending scene where like Agatha's like choking them, Wanda says, "It's okay, baby," like singular, and I'm like, but you got 2 kids.
I don't know.
one of them matters, and the
It's
other one
okay,
is a
babe.
spare.
It's okay, babies. I don't know. Would that? I don't know if that's.
I don't know, but you got 2 kids. I don't know. That was my first thought, which I mean, it's like you see that her like choking them, and my thought is, but you got 2 kids. Why are you saying singularly like babies?
I think I was so focused on Agatha's awesome witch costume that I didn't realize that she said
That was a highlight,
that was pretty cool.
Among other major things that happened in that same 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked so different
love
when she changed into her witch costume. So
Here for it.
okay, do you let's see, Zoelle, why do I keep saying Zoelle? I'm like reading the name. It's Jean Claire.
See, it happens to you too. It's
You
I'm
merged.
hoping that her volume's all the way down and she isn't just watching us and laughing at our faces. Yeah, Lane Days, who's commented on a lot of my reaction videos, says that was dark, a great episode as usual. It was a really good episode. It was, like, I loved all those flashback scenes. Like, it was different than what I was expecting because I thought we were going to really, like, do some of that, but then, like, get into more action at the very end. But I love how they went with it, and I love that, like, they were there, you know, like they were experiencing the scenes, and like you get to see on Wanda's face, like her experience and like her living that again.
Yeah, that was what was interesting.
It was good. Like
she literally put her back and was like, all right, you gotta, they're calling your name. You step back in and you're a child again and you have to relive this. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but then like seeing her face, literally like seeing her joy at seeing her parents again, you know, like Elizabeth Olsen is such a good actress in this episode. Even like I thought that too when she went to go get Vision. Like that whole scene.
Oh yeah.
Going to get Vision. I thought that was a really well done scene by her. Just really, really well done acting by her in this episode.
Because you could see her trying to like control herself, but like she was.
I just want to.
That's another thing that eventually we need to talk about. It doesn't have to be right now, but Hayward was pushing her at every turn. Like he wanted her to do something, and I don't think he cared what. He just like he was trying to force her action.
I think,
and he got one eventually.
I mean, okay, he says that line where he says like it's something like not many people have the capacity or the capabilities to bring their lovers back from the dead or something like that.
Yeah.
And him saying that, I was like, oh, he wants her, like, you know, he knows that he thinks she can do it. And he's just like, I got to figure out how to make it happen. Like, I got to figure out what buttons to push. Because she genuinely, like she said, she didn't even want to bring him back. Because he didn't want to be brought back as a weapon or be used. She just wanted to bury him and give him like the respect and like say goodbye.
Get some closure.
Yeah, get some closure. Poor girl. Just needs some closure.
She walked out without a fight and then all this.
I know, poor thing.
She breaks my heart.
Yeah. Morgan says, do you think that there will be 2 episodes next week? I don't know.
Extra long, maybe?
Yeah.
It's like hour
25 it's set to be over an hour in length.
There's no way they can wrap that up in their typical 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Episode.
I feel like it won't be split into 2, but like they said, I think it will have to be a little longer.
It'll be at least 50 minutes, I think.
They've been getting progressively longer as we've gone. I haven't noticed because it always feels like 5 minutes and then we're left with another cliffhanger.
Man, these episodes go by so fast.
But the last one was I think a full like 35-40 minutes versus like the previous like 23 27 and then it's creeping up on you.
I really need to go back and rewatch it
in full,
like without having to but like without having to wait, but also just to see, because like the first episode really does play out just like a 1950s sitcom. Like there's, besides obviously there's that scene at the dinner table that you're like, okay, this is weird, but like it does play out like the sitcom. And I just one of my other favorite things about this episode was I thought the show sitcom thing was just a cool gimmick to like that one, like used to tell the story, and then you know you figure out, okay, it's Wanda broadcasting the story. Is what are we doing with this? And then just to find out that she just really likes Americans.
I know.
Just like.
Katie, that was literally one of my, I asked that every week. I was like, why is it in a sitcom format? Why is she like, I was like, why? What's the purpose? There's no way they can have a purpose to this. It's going to be a stupid purpose. And then this week they do it. And I'm like, oh, that almost made me cry because it was so.
It's a comfort blanket.
They're actually, it's so cool to see like the Dick Van Dyke Show on her TV, and then I know Malcolm in the Middle was in there somewhere, but like all
Bewitched.
Bewitched, all the shows that were definitely, I mean, we didn't catch all the different references to the shows, but I would catch some of them, the obvious ones, which was so cool. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean that in that scene too, I wasn't really the first scene, I wasn't really expecting the explosion to happen while they were watching the sitcom. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
we knew it was
Can we
coming.
please talk about this?
I knew. Okay, so I knew that that's like their parents got killed, but I like in my brain first I didn't know like they were there when their parents got killed. I thought maybe their parents were out somewhere. I don't know. But like I saw that there was like the war or like whatever going on outside, and I was like, oh, you know, like I don't think that the actual explosion is gonna happen. But then it did, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is just it's horrific.
Oh, I know what you want to talk
Yeah,
about.
I really like this is so critically important to what happened.
About the mutant thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, what they were talking about, or what they showed, I guess, in that scene where the missile crashes down and kills their parents, and they have to sit there watching it blink and deal with it for a couple of days. That was told in dialogue to us in the second Avengers movie. We've never seen it play out on live TV. So, or in movies.
In movies.
So we were watching that happen, sitting down to like dinner time. I literally reached over to Katie and I was like, you know what's gonna happen, right? Okay, you know what's going to happen. We're gonna have to watch this, and it's gonna happen in real time, like it's happening to us. And it did.
It's so creepy. We're like sitting on our couch eating our dinner, and then watching them sit on the couch and get ready to like do their movie night, and we're just
And then it's wham, and the food.
Yeah, but
then so when Pietro is like, we got to get out of here, and Wanda's like, I can do something about this, and like kid Wanda, which is as far as the MCU has ever told us thus far, and because of a up until now contracts issue where I think they had to tell it this way, as far as the MCU's told us, Wanda got her powers as a genetic experiment under Hydra during her time as like a captive prisoner who was trying to help the world. So reaching out and trying to do something about it with her powers that shouldn't exist at that age, we're all like
she's a mutant.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
From the beginning.
Yeah, that was definitely my first thought with that. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna let her be a mutant. And also they talked about this episode, Agatha said that she was controlling the fake Pietro or Pietro or whatever.
Pietro, which I wish I had thought of.
Which
so good.
I think means that character is going to still be in the universe, and they're going to incorporate him probably somehow in the future, since he is from like the other X-Men. Really quickly, let me catch up on some of these comments because
I know
there's
talking
a
everyone.
Hang on,
some...
I'm sorry, I'm behind. And we'll get through some of these really quick. Always had their suspicions about Hayward. Yes, from the beginning, hated Hayward. Devontae said the twins' futures are questionable even to comic book fans. Things can go super left with them.
Agreed.
I heard someone say something about something like Avengers Academy, some kind of teen thing with them.
That's the weird thing about the twins, is because their powers are accurate to a comic book line where they are the next Avengers, but in other comics they have other roles which are much darker and would be much more horrible to watch. And they would not be around after this series if that line. We don't know what the MCU is going to do.
I just want them to be sweet forever.
I know.
Katie, like her Billy has to grow up as a good boy.
I know. I have to protect him.
I have to see him grow into a fine young man.
He's got to grow into a fine young gentleman for Katie.
Yes.
Christina says, can we please address Agatha's backstory while her mom had some serious power? So when we had that scene at the very beginning, I just knew, okay, if you guys have seen any of my live chats, I feel like Tim probably, you know where this is going. There was a commercial a few episodes back where it was like the feed on your magic, bro. And I kept saying, I was like, this commercial is like someone is feeding on Wanda's magic, or this is like super significant. And then like as soon as we saw that scene, I was like, that commercial.
There it is.
Like,
and that's the commercial that broke format too, because everything else at this point, I don't think it's a spoiler. I don't think it's like a theory. I think this is confirmed. Like everything else commercial wise has been a part of Wanda's backstory, just like subconsciously making its way through. But that one, we're all like, it's a kid and he's starving to death. And
that was the creepiest. Like, I was like, are we still watching WandaVision?
Yeah, I was like, that took a turn. It was, but then that's what happened to those other witches. And that, like, they literally looked like
the same thing. They just starved.
Yeah, but that scene was so good. And I kind of, I felt like that was what was gonna happen, because I felt like she was gonna absorb that magic. But I think they did a good job of her in that scene. And it was a twist, because like usually when you think like Salem witch trials, you think of people being
they got me in the beginning, and then I was like, right, sorry, too many like horror movies with witches, I guess.
Yeah, so that was a good twist. I don't know how, I haven't read the comics. I don't know how close that comes to Agatha's backstory in the comics, if it's been revealed in the comics, but I thought that was a really good backstory. And I'm curious to know about the little brooch thing.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I don't know if that was just a power move, like, I beat you, Mom, and I'm gonna take your precious brooch, or if it's got some sort of powers or significance or whatever. I mean, I know that in the comics there is a significance to a brooch that Agatha wears, but I don't know if that same significance will play out in this show.
Yeah, maybe it might be something to do with like her mother, something her mother had, like some kind of power. But Agatha's power herself, I don't think has anything probably to do with it, because she seems like she was pretty powerful.
See, I feel like now, I didn't read a ton of Marvel comics as a kid. Everything that I know about Marvel, I had to learn as an adult. So I'm behind like 20 something years, but everything that I watched in like TV or movie format, like Agatha Harkness is the character that's been kind of neutral in the shows that I've seen.
She's like chaotic neutral.
Yes, she has awesome power, but she mostly is like a background character who's like, hey, Rogue, you can use your powers this way. Or in, Scarlet Witch popped up in the old X-Men show. Wanda, if you focus on this, you won't be so mad at your dad anymore. But she's never been like as antagonistic as,
like the bad guy as in this.
Except in one comic, which is the one that everyone is referencing with Mephisto, which I'm sticking to. I'm sticking to my guns on that.
I still believe Mephisto is going to come in this. I really do. I think he's going to come into it. Now, really quick, I want to talk about Morgan's comment. Morgan says, did anyone else notice the Scarlet Witch's silhouette in the Mind Stone?
I was so excited about that. That
scene was interesting.
I saw that as like Wanda glimpsing at her future self, like someone she could be if she embraces her powers the right way. No, I could be totally wrong. It could be like, we'll get the White Vision, I'm sure, but it could be the White Vision version of Wanda, like an evil version of what she could be as well, coming to haunt her and her dreams. But in my mind, I was like trying to see the positive side. Like, you touched an Infinity Stone, you found out you're basically an all-powerful being, and this is what could become of that.
Yeah, I think it's the second one or the first. Well, you mentioned that and then diverted. I'm gonna go with the
lawful good character of Scarlet Witch.
Future potential as Scarlet Witch.
I think that's a good. I think this, like you said, Katie. I think that's a good idea. To be honest, I had no idea who it was. I was like, "What is going on?" I also thought, if I understood the scene correctly, they didn't see what happened. Like when they were.
Yeah, that was cool.
They didn't. It was like just
It all happened in her own mind, which is awesome.
And it happened in like less than a second because she's there and on the ground.
Yeah, the scene kind of reminded me of that scene we got a few episodes ago, or it might have been last episode, when Monica was going back through the force field, and then like we had her mom, and that was, I love things like that, like when they're going through a transformation, or they're like seeing, like y'all think like maybe seeing her future potential. And Jen says her husband noticed that. And Christina thinks it's also her potential, and I think I agree.
Teen potential.
I prefer to see the good in Wanda.
I do too. Look, I got a lot of hate too for doing that at the beginning. People were like against Wanda, and I was like, I just like her, and I want her and Vision to be together so bad.
I need her to be okay. She's been through so much.
I was convinced for the longest time, and I still kind of am iffy about whether or not we're going to lose one of them. I don't think so, because someone told me that Wanda was like signed on to do another movie, another show or something. But like Vision, like we'll get to talking about the
we need to cycle back to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but
we're like 10 minutes into the episode in terms of what we've got.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, there is a lot to unpack. But anyway, Devontae was agreeing with you about Agatha's role pretty much, which I think is interesting, because seeing how they portrayed her character in this show, I would have never thought that is how she would have been portrayed in the comic books at all. Morgan says she thought it was like a reincarnation situation.
Wanda touching the stone?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. So maybe that power being, I don't know.
Maybe it was like Wanda or like Scarlet Witch from a different reality, like connecting, because she's in like her original comic book costume, which we were never allowed to see Wanda in until this show. So
yeah.
Also, I'm still getting used to the different universes idea.
Well, now.
Yeah.
Now, we could build off of that and say that it's like, all right, so the official comic book term is nexus being, when you have the ability to like generate something out of nothing. That's why Agatha is so freaked out. So if we're assuming that Wanda is a nexus being because of all she was able to create, which to be honest surprised even me, even though I know that she has all kinds of powers in the comics, it's never been explored in this continuity, this storyline. So if we're assuming that, then it could be that the Mind Stone itself was like representing itself to her as like, this is your power, take it, child.
It is in you.
Like kind of like Chosen, like she's the chosen one. I mean, I think I like in storylines where they have like kind of a destiny kind of thing, or it's like a chosen thing, and I think it probably is something like that, because you know, we hear them say that everyone else who they tried this on had gotten killed, so like it didn't work for anyone else. And then also they weren't like, they couldn't see what even happened. Like this was only Wanda saw this occur. So there was something special about her, for sure, for her to be able to get that power. But
and my question then becomes, how did Pietro get his? But I'm sure we'll explore that in like the next 10 years of Marvel. So.
Yeah, well, but they were both experimented on, right?
Yes.
So maybe he had it kind of latent, but maybe hers was more, I mean, maybe his might be like purely experimental, and hers might be more of a latent thing. Really quickly, Connor got a short break from work, so came some.
Hi, Connor.
Say hey. Hey, Connor.
Hi.
Thank you for taking a break and checking in with us. If you like theme parks, Connor is doing a live, I believe, is it Animal
Thursday?
Kingdom? On Thursday? Is it in Animal Kingdom? I
think it's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Lodge, okay.
Oh, I love that place.
Yes. So he's doing a live stream there. If you guys have not checked out his channel. Morgan says she doesn't think we'll ever know, which is probably true. But we were talking last week about how we do think that they're going to leave this show very open-ended, in terms of like, because they're wanting to probably use this show to kind of,
it's a building block, for sure.
They're not going to answer everything we want them to answer probably in this
yes, because they want you to watch Loki and Multiverse of Madness and or whatever.
Yeah, which I'm excited for. The YouTuber says, only reason why I think Mephisto could still be involved is because all of those devil references.
Exactly.
Those devil references are strong arguments.
Yes.
Unleash hell, demon spawn. Like, who talks to a child that way?
Pietro does.
Yeah, I guess.
We still don't know who the rabbit that Agatha's holding onto, which
Yeah.
be
definitely
immensely
not
surprised if that was Mephisto.
that is not
but
a plain. I don't think it's Mephisto.
It's not
but
a garden variety rabbit.
It's not a regular rabbit.
Yeah. I don't know, at one point, and this was not a true theory, but before she like pretty much drained all the power from her mom, I thought it could be her mom. I don't know why, that was my first thought.
I thought her
Maybe
mom was
gonna-
Evan Peters, like the Pietro. I thought that was that actor from the first shot.
Oh, yeah.
And then she took off her hood and was like a womanly voice, and I was like,
No.
Just kind of looks like Evan Peters from an angle.
Pietro is not Agatha's mother. So, that would have been a big plot twist. Okay, so Mike says his powers might have been latent. I'm assuming she's talking about Pietro, because they showed the flashback scene. In the flashback scene.
I must have missed that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the flash, so.
No.
Sorry.
The
flashback scene. I mean, if we're referring to the flashback scene
When they were kids.
when they were kids, she thinks his. Oh, do you think maybe he was able to grab?
Like
Wanda?
he's the one who pulled her back?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That is a good idea. That's a good idea.
Maybe.
I have no problem accepting that Pietro is also a mutant, but we need to get into the meat of mutants in order for them to, like, I don't want to just have it be a theory that sits out there. If Marvel's going to do that, they should just say it.
Christina says, right, what's the deal with the rabbit? And Morgan says, yes, the rabbit ate a bird.
Okay, I watched that scene again because the whole point of that scene, sorry.
The cicada
became a bird. Stop. It became a bird, but I think the whole point was that Agatha was trying to demonstrate her powers and how they were different than Wanda's powers because she took the cicada, turned it into a bird, but she can't make a bird out of nothing, right? But I watched that scene again, and when she throws the bird at the rabbit, I think it turns back into the cicada before it goes in the rabbit's mouth. But I don't think rabbits normally eat bugs anyway, so it's still a bad rabbit.
It's a bad
and
rabbit.
That was definitely a kind of shock factor scene I wasn't expecting.
I've seen some rabbits in my time. That one's bad.
Yeah. We can I'm not gonna like die on the hill that it became a bug before it went in the rabbit's mouth, but rabbits still do not eat bugs.
Yeah.
I think there's a good to fair chance that rabbit is transmutated into some sort of like hellhound or something.
Yeah, I think
we'll have to deal with it at some point.
Demon sidekick or something.
It's like every witch has a familiar.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something. It's not.
Sorry, I was going to say that scene I got reminded of. If you guys have seen Harry Potter.
Yes.
Movie. Okay. So in the 4th Harry Potter movie, when Mad Eye is like showing the class like the 3 Unforgivables and like showing them, that was very reminiscent of the scene, and it coincidentally had to do with a bug. So he demonstrated on a bug. So I was like, got a little Harry Potter reference in there. The YouTuber also mentions the stork. Now I had someone, and it might have been the YouTuber, write a theory on one of my videos. It was the reaction video where Wanda gave birth, or she was pregnant, and there was the stork there. Something about
this me just realizing that was a stork and not like
a crane.
A crane. Yeah.
A crane.
Yeah, the baby. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. But I had a comment that was it was something like Mephisto and animals, some relation with Mephisto and the animals. I want to say, or like possession of, I don't know. It related back to Mephisto. I wish I remembered the exact comment, but someone had a theory and it might be the YouTuber that had that theory.
Was it? If I'm remembering correctly, she couldn't like control the stork, right?
Yes, she couldn't magic it away. Which is anytime she couldn't do that. Like she couldn't do that with the twins. She couldn't do that with Vision. Which I don't know. I mean, she technically created Vision though. So I don't know. I'm still confused about all that because my theory was that like I don't know. I just, it was odd to me that like the twins and Vision and the stork, she couldn't mind control them. But yes. Connor says, I think it turned out of the bird too because there was quite a crunch. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. That was what was so off-putting, is because you're just like, oh God, that bird
Yeah.
destroyed. But I think because I saw it again and I was like, because I was watching carefully, I'm like, oh, it turns back into a bug. But still, like I said, not typical rabbit food.
I'm gonna say it again so we can get it trending. # bad rabbit.
Bad rabbit. You know, when you said that comment a minute ago, Tim, what I thought of, I'm the biggest Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory fan. And that scene where, have you guys seen, I hope you've seen Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're talking the Gene Wilder one. Right?
The OG, the good Willy Wonka.
Oh, you don't like creepy bowl cut?
No offense to Johnny Depp. Love you, man, but no. But yeah, saying Bad Rabbit, you keep reminding me of that scene where Veruca stands on the little egg thing and it just says bad and she goes down the chute. So every time you say Bad Rabbit, I'm just thinking of the bad. Oh, Christina's helping you out. #
Yay.
Really
She is always
quickly,
in our corner.
I want to ask you guys about this because this is one I don't personally know how to answer, but Devontae asks or says, the thing I'm disappointed about is my theory that the next door neighbor, Herb, isn't going to be the high evolutionary, which I feel like is someone from the comic books. I'm sorry you lost good money on that, Devontae. Do y'all know who that is? I feel like
I am familiar with the high evolutionary as an abstract I haven't like read the comics that he's part of, but I know who it is. I'm interested. Devontae, you should post more about that because I'm interested to see where that theory came from. I have no idea how I would connect those dots to make him a high evolutionary, but.
Yeah, why did you think that? Why did you
Yeah,
think
let's have some follow-up on that.
Herb was definitely kind of broken out of whatever trance, and I don't know if it was Agatha. I think in the flashbacks we saw Agatha like doing her purple boogie boogie to him.
Well, no, that was set up to make Vision uncomfortable so that Vision would start building this case against, okay, something's wrong.
Okay.
And I need
against Wanda, yeah.
That's what I think that was all about.
I agree, Katie, because it was that scene, that was the scene where Vision was like, something's going on.
Yeah, that was the first, like, what?
Yeah, and then, I mean, Agatha herself, you know, did that scene where she was like, do you want me to take that line again and do the scene again? So, like, she definitely, I think, was trying to get them against each other.
Yes.
And we talked about it some last week. I feel like going back to the Mephisto theory, I feel like she probably is doing something to try to either release Mephisto or doing something for Mephisto, and she needs Wanda to like either help her with her power or needs Wanda's power for something, and she doesn't want Vision, I guess, in the way. That's what someone had said last week, and I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, Agatha's definitely been sidelining Vision.
Yeah, for some reason. I mean, she doesn't want him in the picture there. Jen says it was purple smoke around the stork. I do feel like I remember that. So it was kind of Agatha.
I didn't notice that. I thought it was red. My bad.
Jen said, isn't that Agatha's color? And it is, yes.
It's 100%.
Yes, purple versus red is where it's all going to come down to.
Yeah. So I feel like I do remember that being a different color. I'd have to go back and watch. Morgan says, I'm just happy that Pietro is being controlled and not bad. But can we talk about where is Monica?
Where's
First
Monica?
off, yes, I'm happy he's not bad because I love that character, and which is, I feel like, an unpopular opinion because I've seen a lot of people say they don't. But I really liked Pietro. He was just fun. His personality, he just like brought something different to the cast. But yeah, so what did y'all, first off, what do y'all think of Pietro?
So talking of Pietro, the episode where he first turned up, I was so angry. And I was angry not just because of what happened in that episode, but I was angry because I predicted it as a joke. Like 3 episodes prior, I was like, yo, there's rumors that Evan Peters is going to be involved. Wouldn't it be funny if they pulled like a replacement Aunt Viv and brought in Evan Peters, and it would fit perfectly with the format? And then they did. And I was angry because although Evan Peters does a great job playing Quicksilver in that alternate universe, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played adult Pietro in the MCU, got totally messed over by the MCU because he popped up for one movie.
Yeah, I know.
And he hasn't probably should. Oh no, it's
no. Like,
it's out.
I know.
All right, sorry.
Talk about bullet holes.
All right, yeah, it's out there. I forgot that
It
it was.
was like, Kate, don't
horrific.
spoil it. But it's okay.
Every time I come up against Death Wall, I'm like, is this relevant? Like, what?
He gets anyway.
No.
Look, I was telling him
Johnson
last week,
is
I'm like,
my.
y'all could probably say a spoiler, and I would not know. Like
Out of context, yeah, you might not
it's
even.
Greek to me. Like I'm like, I don't know. Morgan's about the only person who knows how to really.
You have to come right out there with every.
It's
detail.
like I swear, it's like reaching into a blended fruit smoothie and trying to touch only strawberries to touch. It's there's a lot of MCU. I don't know what's been spoiled and what has. Okay, so
the point is,
yes, back to Pietro. So Evan Peters, again, great Quicksilver. He did a magnificent job of bringing him to life in the Fox movies. But Aaron Taylor Johnson is, I think, my personal preferred Quicksilver, which is the minority opinion. But I would love to have seen him get a chance to come back. And he still might, because there's still one more episode. So I'm not going to take that off the board. But I do think that if Evan Peters is back, I'm going to subscribe to the notion that Evan Peters, in whatever capacity, he's not here to stay. He's here as like I think it did him justice to be offered a role in the MCU at all, since I think their plan is to recast most of the X-Men. But for him to be in this particular show, in his like how his relationship would be with Wanda if she was a character in the X-Men universe, I thought that was cool. I just want more.
I think he's in it because they could have Darcy make the joke. They recast Pietro, and so that they could have him
and
be.
He's a good actor.
No, but
too.
I'm saying but the reason why they did that is so that they could have that joke, and then he can be the Uncle Jesse, the whatever sitcom character that they needed him to be for the sake of the sitcom storytelling device, and then you find out, and we were really betting that he was like evil for a while, like because he's the one who says like unleash hell, demon spawn, or whatever. So
yeah,
he knew way more.
We didn't think he was a puppet
to.
of Agatha. We thought he was like a assistant or whatever. But then finding out he was totally under mind control, I'm like, okay.
He's been wiggly wooed.
Yeah. I have two things I want to say really quick. I hope I don't forget the second one because it was just an aha moment. That could totally be wrong. All my theories are wrong usually. But the first one I want to say, I am happy they brought Pietro in because, like you said, it was really nice and interesting to see that character having the relationship with Wanda that he would have had, I guess, in that alternate universe, But I really thought he was gonna like take the twins. That I was like convinced. I'm like, he's gonna kidnap the twins or something's gonna happen. He's gonna be bad. So I feel like he was a good like red herring to kind of put in there to kind of like make you look at him.
Yeah.
I guess. And that was also a big episode for Agatha and like her and Vision scene. So if you're looking a lot more at Pietro, then like you're not gonna be looking as much at Agatha.
True.
But okay. This could totally be wrong, but the idea that just popped into my head. So we had Pietro asking all these like questions, basically like, how did you do it? And we know he was under Agatha's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I could be completely remembering this wrong because it's been a hot minute, but I feel like in episode 1, did the boss or the boss's wife, were they not asking them like, who are you, or like, why are you here? I feel like they were asking those questions. I could be wrong, but I wanted to say I remember them asking like, who are you and why are you here? And I almost am like, maybe they were sent by Agatha to kind of see what's going on. And like, I don't know, that was just like an idea that just popped into my head. I have to feel like Donna or Deborah Jo Rump had to have had more purpose in this show, then like they literally put her name in the credit, and there was like one little like flashback to her in this last episode, and I'm like, how much is she getting paid to be like?
Maybe that's why. Maybe they're like, we can afford you for
But
this.
no, I think you're totally right, because we also haven't seen the boss character since that first episode. So like, and it wasn't
or
her asking the questions.
Girl, the society.
Yeah.
I call her Anya because I know her from Buffy, but yeah, like that is one thing, and Jean and Claire touched on it last week. If they don't go back to that, if they don't give that some sort of ending, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, what was the purpose of the boss and his wife? What was the purpose of these characters? To me, it would make sense if, since they were so early on, it would make sense if they were controlled by Agatha, and Agatha was using them to try to find out more information, maybe, or I don't know. I just feel like, because I thought it was significant in the first episode when the boss was like choking, and Vision had to use his powers to like save the boss. So I thought maybe she was like making him choke, because that was such an odd scene to me. I felt like he shouldn't have choked, but I felt like maybe she was trying to get them to use their powers to like help him and see what they had going on. That's just my crazy theory, but
I think it depends on how. So we learned at the end of this episode that, you know, as soon as Wanda's grief exploded, changed Westview, and created Vision, like we jumped into the 1950s, and there we were, and it was black and white and whatever. So it depends on kind of like maybe where the show actually, like how soon does the show actually start? Like how long are they there? Because I think Agatha kind of disclosed that she sensed this immense power and was drawn to it. I don't think Agatha was just in Westview. I think she there. So I don't know how soon Agatha was in Westview, figured out it was Wanda, and then started the mess. But I'm not saying I don't think that's a good theory. I'm just saying I guess it just depends on the timing.
Was in that first episode as like the friendly neighbor, and she came over during the dinner for the first time to introduce herself and give her whatever lobster. And,
that's right. I'm forgetting that.
We need. I'll hold together.
Okay, so maybe so then that kind of blows that out. So, but I do think she was attracted to the power and then came. I mean, it's possible. I mean, the whole song is it was Agatha all along, so it's totally possible she had her hands in the, you know, soup pot from the very, very beginning, trying to figure.
Yeah, I just think I'm trying to find some reason that these characters were in the show, because I feel like it's such a random. Like, as much as I love seeing Kitty from that 70s show and Anya from Buffy, and I love my people from my other shows, and I get so excited to see cameos. What was the purpose? And you know that had to be expensive.
Especially since there have been some characters like Herb who have showed up in each like incarnation of the show. And of course we know why Agatha was, of course, but there have been characters that keep showing up and you keep doing, but then others that it's like they serve their purpose for that series. And
I think I'm 100% on board with the idea that Agatha was using the boss as some kind of puppet, because that was the first. If that had not happened, that whole episode would have been standard Dick Van Dyke sitcom format with no interruptions. And that was the first time too that Wanda was like, "What's going on?" And I don't remember her name. The wife, we'll call her Kitty because that's who she is.
It was Mr. and Mrs. Hart.
Mrs. Hart. So she's on hard hex loop. Like, stop it.
That was so unsettling.
Like, that's so weird that you're doing that. This is a casual episode of a sitcom. We don't do that here. Come on.
No one chokes on their dinner.
And then Wanda's like, something is broken. Vision, please fix it. And that's the first got into the plot of the show, that episode. And I think it's totally possible that Agatha was just like experimenting a little bit and seeing what she could make Wanda do. I also do want to say really, really quickly, and I won't go all the way down this rabbit hole because it is making my head explode, but Agatha has fed something to Wanda every single episode since the beginning of the series. I had to have that told me by someone else too, and it was like a hammer to the back of my skull because I was like, the tea, the lobster, and like every time, and even when she like took Wanda off the property, and we've been leaving Morgan hanging on Monica too. So after the Monica and the Wanda face off on the lawn, when Agatha like, come to my house, dearie, I'll make you some tea. I'm like,
you said that in like the evil witch's voice from Hansel and Gretel. Like, come to my
I make
house.
you some tea.
Love that voice, Tim. Love it. I'm very Agatha.
It blew my mind though, because I know she's been manipulating, but like I didn't realize the scale of it and the sweep of it and she didn't even like explain that, like, oh, I've been putting stuff in your tea. I'm sure it will come out as part of the overall plot, but it's something that I had to go back and notice for myself through every episode. There is never a scene with Agatha, and even like when she came over to like babysit the twins, she's like spraying perfume on their cribs. And I'm like, she's got something on her that she's trying.
Yeah.
Going back, the rewatch value of this series is going to be really high because there's going to be so much you're like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
And plenty of more Easter eggs because, I mean, we've watched a couple, like, here's all the Easter eggs in the episode. I'm like, I got whiplash. There's literally one, like, every 2 seconds. There's a reference. And a lot of them I don't even know. But anyway, it's going to be fun to go back and rewatch.
Really quick before we get into the Monica question, I just want to say this is a little sidebar because we were talking about Haunting of Hill House earlier. At some point, I would love maybe to do a show and us talk about, if you guys have seen both of the series, or even if you haven't.
Yeah.
Yes, Haunting of Hill House.
If you guys would be interested, I don't know if that would even be an interesting show.
I would love to talk about it.
Yeah, I could go on all night about Haunting of Hill House.
I
For that matter.
I loved both of them. They were both very different. Because Manor was a little less scary, which I'm like the biggest scaredy cat. How I made it through Hill House, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. So just saying that now before I forget, I was like, we should do a live show about the Haunting series.
Yeah, we got you.
We'll be there.
Yes. Anyway,
that's a much talked about topic in this house.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. Okay, so Monica, what are your guys' theories about Monica?
I'm just super jazzed that she got not one, but 2 superhero landings in that episode. And she was like, I'm here. I am badass and I am ready.
So we do. I watched you guys' show from last week when Morgan and Ajana were, and you all had different kind of nods towards Monica's character. So I do think it's either going to be Spectrum or Photon. It doesn't really matter. They're the same character. She is going to adopt a superhero name for sure, and she's going to be a big part of the MCU moving forward. I don't know whether or not she's going to be a new Captain Marvel, but what I do know is that when she was in the lab earlier, like way earlier in the show, when they were like dissecting her to like see like what happened while you're inside the hex, and the tech was like, there's something weird about your blood.
Scans or your blood.
Your scan's a little bit off. She's like, nope, I'm done. And she bowed. And then when Darcy tried to do the same thing later, and it's like, you need to look at your blood results. She's like, no, I'm good. She's known for a long time that she's had some sort of latent mutant gene. Like she's aware that something is wrong with her blood, and she didn't want to talk about it, very obviously. So I think if this is how we get mutants, that's fine. Because it's like a world building. WandaVision is very good at world building. They've built up everything for the whole next phase in like the words are hard. In the course of the 8 or 9 episodes that we're going to get out of the series, we have more questions than answers at the end of it, but it also feels very much like its own thing. Mm-hmm. So if she's like the byproduct of the show that kind of spins off into how we get mutants, that would be awesome. As far as her being like engaged in this particular episode, I didn't miss her because I'm so invested in Wanda, and I know there's like so much screen time. There's only so much screen time. I don't know what's going on with Pietro or whether he'll be like an asset or an ally or arch enemy in the end. I know that in the short term, he's definitely like trying to prevent Monica from finding out anything about Agnes. But Vision and Monica and probably Jimmy Woo from the outside and Monica's helpful service team that I also think are other characters that you might not know about yet are hiding in a different form. They're all kind of converging. So this last episode is going to be probably like 80% fight.
Yeah. I kind of think that would be a good way to end the series because we really haven't seen that, you know, a whole lot in this series. But yeah, I agree. I feel like I thought from the beginning it was, you know, how she was able to kind of go through like the force field, and like I thought that kind of, you know, was something to do with like her having maybe a latent power. But I think that they did a good job with this series and introducing mutants, not just with Monica, but also with Wanda and the backstory that we got this episode. I thought they did a really good job with that.
So well written.
Yes. I'm skipping a few comments just for a minute, but Morgan said that she thought that her avoiding the scans had to do something with her mom dying of cancer.
I mean, she does make that
That
comment.
was what
like,
I thought at first.
I've
But
seen
then
enough blood
after
work. I've seen enough scans or whatever.
that, I think that's given red herring. Like, I think that's what it was written that everyone would assume that, oh, I might have cancer too because my mom had cancer and this type of cancer might be her. We don't know what specific type of cancer, unless I missed something. We don't know what specific type of cancer actually killed her mom. So it could be that she's worried about getting some of the same symptoms. But now what I know from later episodes, I'm like, nah, she knew she was a superhero in waiting. She just didn't want to talk about it. Something went down. You guys talked about this last week. Something definitely went down between Captain Marvel and
Maria.
Yeah, either Maria or like the sword or shield or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's some hard feelings about Captain Marvel in that family.
I think it's just because Captain Marvel went off and no one saw her for like 20 years because she was trying to save the world or the universe, whatever. But I don't know. There's probably more to that.
Yeah.
When she was going into the hex and she into her 4 different selves, I went back and listened to it because I wanted to be sure. The audio, some of it at least, that plays over top of her multiple variations of herself, some of that audio is from the 4-way conversation that happens in Captain Marvel between Monica, her mom, Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury.
Okay.
It's probably not even relevant, except that it's a nod to, I grew up in a superhero family.
Yeah. I thought that was a really good scene.
I really like that scene.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Tim? I didn't
Oh no, I'm done. I talk too much as it is.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry.
Put an end cup on the whole like where is Monica thing. I think obviously the last thing we saw was her with Pietro, but we also know that she has powers now. She might not know how to use them, but I think she could. I mean, unless if she's I don't know. There's a debate as to whether her eyes glowing at the end is purple mind control or her powers kind of manifesting.
I think it's definitely powers.
So if it's her powers, she's about to like unleash almighty fury, I think. So I think she's okay. I don't think she's like captured or anything. I think we just stopped right like before a fight.
Or this occurred to me, wouldn't it be cool if like her powers activating are like, I'm gonna break control over Pietro and he's gonna be my buddy now.
That would be cool. I feel like all those theories could definitely be the way it goes. I feel like it could be because like we don't know like when that occurred per se. Like this might be right as we're about to do the fight scene, and she could be like we just don't know exactly like the timeline of when Pietro found her. So I definitely think that even if she gets captured, like I'm not really worried about Monica.
I'm not worried about her.
She's coming to save the day.
She's coming to help Wanda, not get her butt kicked. She's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good fight scene with them. Really quickly, I'm gonna answer a few of these questions. do we think there's going to be a second season? Everyone I've talked to has said no, and I agree with that.
I think it's a device it's launching the next phase of our MC universe. MCU. So I think we're gonna have a season 2.
There have been rumblings in the MCU world, and I think Feige has done like interviews where he said, you know, we might talk about doing extra seasons, or maybe like bleeding this into a full film and then coming back to a second season later. And I just don't think WandaVision is going to be one of those shows, because the scale of it has already blown up to basically what a Marvel movie would encompass. And I don't see it like getting any better with a second season. I think we're going to cover what we have to cover.
You start from this tiny little thing, like this show sitcom thing, and we're literally just expanding. I mean, you can't pick it up from, my arms are cut off. You can't pick it up from out here and start a second season, you know? So I think the sequel season is going to be the next, maybe not the next show. I don't know how much Loki is going to have anything to do with this, but I definitely think we're going to be, this is just tying into the next phase of where we're headed with the.
Yeah.
At the very least, I think Wanda is done until Doctor Strange 2, because she's already been for that. If she pops up in anything else, it will be a cameo. I just don't think there's anywhere else her character can go at the end of this until we circle back to someone picking up the broken pieces of the multiverse she's created and going from there.
Yeah. I do think on some of our other shows that are coming out, maybe like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think some of those may potentially get second seasons depending on how they play out. But yeah, for this one, I don't really think they're going to be a second season. Really quick. Hey, Jamie. Wanda intervested with normal clothes and walked out with the drone in her costume. If you think about it, it's different from Monica's clothes that were altered. Well, Monica's clothes stayed the same, right? Like the when she came out, they still had her 70s outfit. Yeah. So like the clothes didn't go back. Like how when Vision tried.
That is a good point, though.
When Vision tried to leave,
he just dissolved.
With him leaving, okay, my thought process was Wanda really didn't want him to leave, and she was like keeping him there. Maybe he has the potential to be outside of the border. That was my thought, since the clothes I don't know. I
think he can exist outside of the hex, because the hex is the magic that created him, and I think he just can't exist outside of it. And that's why Wanda freaked out when she's like, something's happening, and then she expanded it because she knows that she's going to lose him again if he tries to leave.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason, and now we know why Hayward was just like, no, let's see what happens, because dang, if he comes out, then my problem's solved. Yeah. I have Vision again. I have my weapon again, but that's why he didn't do anything. And yeah, I don't think that Vision, I should say, can't exist outside of the hex spell.
Yeah, I think all of our hopes and dreams of Vision surviving beyond the series at this point are pinned on the other Vision that's outside. White Vision.
White Vision is his.
Yeah, that's his comic book name.
I still want him to live.
Us too.
I actually, White Vision appearing at the end of this episode gave me for the first time hope that we actually could have Vision at the end of this. Actually, to be honest, I'm not going to pretend I know stuff when I don't. I was like, okay, what is this? What is this White Vision? And immediately I was like, what is White Vision? And then I was like, oh, okay. There's some history with White Vision, and then understanding. I don't know. Are we at White Vision now, or should we? Maybe we should. I don't know if we need to hold on.
One more second. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. We're down.
Haley, I'm sorry we keep leaving the commenters behind.
I know. I'm sorry. I just don't want to. I get so behind, and then I'm like.
We cannot end this without talking about White Vision.
No, we will not end this before talking about White Vision. It must be talked about. And if you didn't watch past the credits, then you
need to
stop watching immediately.
Go back and watch
and
the
then
end.
Come immediately back. It'll take you literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, like 30 seconds. Really quick. quickly, Jen had asked about the neighbor cutting the cement wall, and
That's Herb. Yeah, that's Herb, and our goes back to our Wiggly Woos.
Tim, you blew April's mind about her feeding things. She said now she's going to have to go back and rewatch everything. So
it's so rewatchable.
It blew my mind the first time I realized it. That was truly my first like aha moment of my very own for this whole show, because everything else I was like going along for the ride. This time no one had to hand it to me. I was just like
she keeps feeding her
food and food. And
there's food everywhere. Well, she also fed the twins.
Yes.
So she sprayed perfume on them. She's doing something with the twins too. Okay, so Morgan's comment kind of gets us to our white vision topic, so we can go ahead and start talking about this.
Perfect.
All right.
Because I know we're like, let's come back. Morgan says that she really hopes they don't make Vision bad. I know absolutely nothing about this white vision or the Vision and the Hex. I'll just say really briefly what I think that is probably wrong, and then I'm gonna let Katie and Tim take it over, because they're gonna have a really probably way more articulate idea about it than I do. Basically, my hope is for Vision, the good Vision, to live. That is my hope.
That is my hope as well.
Now, okay, I don't know. I feel like the white Vision, though, so this was made from what was left of the Vision we had before. So I don't know. I just want Vision back. I want Vision back eventually. It doesn't have to be right away. I just want Vision back in some sense with Wanda. I feel like Wanda deserves to have Vision back. I love their dynamic.
Lost everyone else.
I know. It just makes me like, I literally wore a heart today on my sweatshirt. I love them. And I don't have cute clothes like Tim and Katie. But yeah, so that's just really my hope. I don't really know. I feel like the white Vision is going to be bad, at least for a period of time. I don't really know enough about all that to know if there's potential for him to be good. I'm assuming it's just going to be a bad character. So I don't know. We may never get like a Vision back the way he was or the way he is in the show. And in some ways, I feel like even if next week is the end for Vision, I mean, I feel like this is probably a pretty good way to go out, I guess. You know, we had a lot of good episodes with him, and for a person who's not seen him before this show, it really did make me love him as a character. So much so where I'm like devastated, and we'll be devastated next week if we find out that he's done. So that's my thoughts. I'm gonna hand it over to Tim and Katie.
I just have to say this because I've been wanting to say it for like an hour. I love Paul Bettany. So even though I love Vision, seeing Paul like his disguise as like actual Paul Bettany, like that. I mean, he's on my shirt. Like Paul Bettany is on my shirt. Yeah. So yes, I agree. If he's gone from like the Marvel universe for good, I will be very sad because I love Paul Bettany.
Well, one way or another, I think Paul Bettany is still going to be in the MCU canon.
As the voice of Jarvis, maybe.
Jarvis is a relic at this point, but
maybe we'll still see him. I don't know.
All right, so Vision. If we go all the way back to the birth of Vision, how much do you know or not know about the Infinity Stones, Kaylee? Because I don't want to try on it too much.
I know what we saw this episode. I know. I feel like maybe wasn't there one in his head, and that's why he got killed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as that was
we need to dive into these to talk about White Vision.
I'm going somewhere.
All right.
You gotta trust me. You gotta let me lead you.
Okay. Talk about this discussion.
All right. So the Mind Stone is central to the Vision's birth in the second Avengers movie. It's Loki's scepter. It's inside Loki's scepter. So from the first Avengers movie, the Mind Stone of that. And allows the Vision to do his phasing and his manipulation and his flying and his lasers. Like all of that, for the most part, comes from the Mind Stone. The android parts of him are basically just Ultron. So
they're just robot.
Yeah. So my first question in seeing Vision as resurrected in this show is it's not, I don't think it's a spoiler at this point to say we don't have a Mind Stone anymore. In this main canon storyline, that Mind Stone does not exist. So my first question when I saw him pop up is, did we bring the Mind Stone back? How is Vision walking around? You know, is this all in Wanda's
and
deluded
he has his
mind?
powers and everything.
Yeah, he can do everything that he did in the show. And so I was like, all right, when he went to leave the vortex, I was like, this is going to be that critically important moment, because if he can exist outside of the hex,
we have him back.
We have him back. But if he has to be in the hex to survive, we don't have him back. So now, knowing what we know now from this episode, where she, like, a burst of energy and emotion allowed her to resurrect him as she knew him.
But his burst of energy was yellow, which looked like the Mind Stone.
Yes, but
Katie's like,
this Vision is made up. I mean, this literally everything in Westview and start in Westview is made up. This Vision is the sole entity besides the kids that is created from nothing. So we don't really know how real or not real he is. White Vision is the actual Vision that we lost.
The parts.
The parts, but there's no Mind Stone, so he's a blank slate, which is what Hayward wants, in my opinion. He like wants a soldier.
He wants the weapon.
Yeah. So White Vision, he could be good, he could be bad. It might depend on who's controlling him. But my thought is that in order for Vision, our Vision that we know and love, to walk out of the hex, he has to be downloaded or merged with
White Vision.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that happens. This is what I had to look up. So White Vision, it's kind of interesting. I like learning these fun tidbits about things. Funny that the whole like callback is that Vision, when he originally was appearing in the comics, what they wanted him to look like a ghost, to be white. But because of, old-fashioned comic ink or whatever, it was basically he just came out looking like a page. Like there wasn't a way to make white ink. It just was a page, and they're like, I don't like this. Let's make him green. We like green. Green comes out good. So they changed him into being green. And then later, in whatever comic it was, Vision gets torn apart, and then he gets put back together, but he doesn't have the soul, basically, which I guess comes from the Mind Stone. So White Vision is this basically soulless Vision that is a very capable robot, I guess, but he doesn't have Vision's memories. He doesn't have Vision's empathy, whatever.
The human emotion grid.
But and Wanda, of course, wants that back. She wants her husband back. And they figure out a way to basically merge the two of them together. Vision regains all of his memories and all of his love, I guess, emotions, whatever. And they're, I believe, able to carry on. Unfortunately, there are a lot of storylines where Vision and Wanda end up breaking up. I really hope that doesn't happen.
Nah.
But I'm hoping that's
after all of this drama. Okay, they wouldn't do that to her.
Yeah. So anything, White Vision is our literal beacon of light for the last remaining shred of hope I have that we'll still have Vision after this series is over, if they can get them to merge. So as far as like, is White Vision evil? I think him
right
standing there,
I
don't think he is inherently evil. He's just a device. Like he is,
like he can be controlled to be.
Yeah, they're gonna, if they, they can type in a program that says go destroy this city and he'll go do it, but he doesn't have any the conscience, emotion, whatever that our Vision has. So never described as like an evil character. He's not like, he's not like anti-Vision or whatever. He just exists as like the weapon or the device that Hayward apparently wanted. So that was actually really exciting. I mean, like I said, I had to go look it up, but as soon as I was like, oh my God, we're going to get him back. It's going to be fine.
I fully
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I hope that that is what happens.
Me too.
I honestly feel like at this point, Wanda would be like totally just content with like just making the force field around their little house and staying there with him forever and her kids. Like, I think that's all Wanda really wants, and so I just want them to be together and be happy. Obviously, you know, she's gonna go on to other movies, at least Doctor Strange 2, right? So, I mean, I don't know, but so that's not going to happen. But hopefully, if that doesn't happen at the end of this series, maybe down the road, that will be kind of explored. But I hope it happens at the end of this series. Jamie says this is going to be the longest ever.
Fully agree.
I agree. I concur. Really quickly, I'm going to get to a comment Morgan's side, but I'm going to go ahead and show this comment from the YouTuber who says, I'm happy for Paul Bettany because he went from being the voice of Jarvis in Iron Man 1 to leading his own show as Vision. He technically has been there from the start. And that's true. He did a really good job for himself. I watched an interview with him the other day where he literally talked about, like, he had just gotten told, I don't know if it was by his agent or who it was, he had just gotten told that he was not gonna, you know, act again. I think he had already been Jarvis at this point. And they were like, oh, like, it's over, like, you're not gonna get another role. And he said he had just had the worst blow up ever, I believe, with his agent. And he said he was right outside, it just ended, and he got a call and they were like, do you want to be the Vision? And he was like, yeah.
I do.
So he said that that was like the perfect timing for him, and you know, things like that happened. But he said he felt very grateful to get the opportunities he did, and I definitely think he's a great like voice actor, and also he's done such a good job with Vision, like such a good job. Okay, popping back real quickly, I don't understand this comment, but maybe y'all do. Morgan says, does this relate to Silver Surfer?
Because White Vision looks like Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is the herald of Galactus in the Fantastic Four movies, and I guess the larger scale Marvel universe. I don't think they're related in this instance. There's some aesthetic similarities, but I think White Vision is meant to be a blank slate versus something bigger.
Yeah.
Morgan also has this comment. If she can destroy the stones, is it fair to say that she can recreate them?
That's an interesting question.
So going back to what so this is what I'm just realizing while talking about this. So we had already talked about the Mind Stone moment in the torture experiment room where she sees her future self, maybe her potential.
Yeah.
The Mind Stone. I'm wondering, like, if in that moment Wanda maybe absorbs some of the Mind Stone, and that's why the magic that when she creates Vision is yellow. So maybe
that could be. That's
how he's able to like have his powers in this world and everything, and how she's able to recreate him because she tried. Like, she went to Hayward's lab and put her hands on him, and she was like, I can't feel you. I can't feel you. And I don't know, like, I feel like if she was gonna try to bring him that Vision back, that was the moment, and for some reason it didn't work, and maybe she just didn't have her full powers or potential or whatever, I don't know. But then she gets back to the house, and the grief is the I don't know, spark or whatever that, you know, sets everything. But that's why I saw that, and I was like, he's yellow, and I'm like, Mind Stone. So I don't know, I think maybe if she can't recreate them, but I think she has the power, some fraction of the Mind Stone left, and that was enough to recreate him. And I think it'll be enough if he merges with White Vision to bring him back.
I think now that he exists in some capacity. She has created something that was not there before, Beauty and the Beast style, and now we have.
There would be such a good Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, someone out there should definitely make like
yes,
like
I would watch it.
WandaVision.
Or like do a comic of it. I'm here for it. I stand it. Okay.
But definitely, like, the other thing that I keep going back to, and another reason, I guess, the base reason why I keep latching on to Mephisto as being the end game of the show, is because the show is very clearly, at least loosely based on a comic series called The House of M, where Wanda is, as a Nexus being who actually in that continuity understands the depth of her powers, she's able to create different realities, and she basically goes reality hopping, similar to the way she's doing sitcom hopping, to find her perfect reality where she can live with Vision, create two kind of hybrid human children, and have that, exactly what you were talking about, that nice little home life, walk away from Avenger life and just be a woman with her kids and her loving husband. And that ends basically with Mephisto arising because she makes a bad deal through Agatha Harkness that her kids are, I think Morgan told you last week, like the pieces of Mephisto's soul, and that he he like reneges on the deal.
No.
And the kids are gone and Mephisto rises. And if that happens, obviously we don't have the new Avengers. But like it's so loosely based. MCU can do whatever it wants at this point. It can base things on those stories and the White Vision story, for that matter, two completely separate storylines, bring them together in a way that fits its own end game, and then we could just be sitting here like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So that no one knows everything. But I think that's an alternate path that we could go down, is Wanda creates White Vision and her vision as a hybrid and allows that vision to carry on. If anything, I think, again, we'll go back to White Vision as being like our beacon of hope that Vision could survive beyond the show.
I am curious, though, because of that's what happened to Vision. Like, I mean, she clearly tells the boys not to go past whatever L Street. So I think if the boys leave, they will disintegrate as well. So I think they can only exist inside the bubble. Which is, I don't know how, like, we know how to get Vision. Theoretically, I know how to get Vision out. I don't know how to get the boys out safely.
Yeah.
They could also merge with White Vision.
They could also just Mr. Soul. So I don't know. that would be worst case scenario.
I think with the boys, the reason, I mean, I'm 50-50. I feel like it would be kind of stupid in my mind to get rid of them when they could definitely be a big part of the new Avengers. But I mean, they can do what they want to do. I personally just like me and Katie want to see Billy raised up to be a good guy. So we will see.
It's cool to just see him as a character, honestly.
I can't believe that I didn't realize that he was from Hill House. That's crazy. I was laughing though when you had started talking, Katie, because I was reading a Jean Claire's comment. She says, I cannot hear anything, but I'm reading the comments and I'm like I'm definitely catching up tonight. Rabbit Bird, feeling bad for Pietro. Wanda stole Vision. What? Oh,
Rabbit Bird.
Jean Claire, it's #BadRabbit.
Bad Rabbit.
So get on that train.
Everyone take to Twitter like lightning.
We want to see it trending. Should get it trending. #BadRabbit.
I'm definitely putting that on Instagram later. And anyone who didn't watch the live chat will be so left out.
Left out. I'm just gonna tweet #BadRabbit.
No context.
No context for that. The YouTuber wants a Vision versus Vision fight, which I admit would be really cool.
That is going to happen. That's going to happen. There's no way that's not going to happen.
Steve Thompson says the new Vision post-credit is the new Ultron, which blew more.
There's some truth to that.
I mean,
there's some truth because to that. Because Vision's original body, like we said, was crafted by Ultron. It was designed to be Ultron's perfect body, and instead, the Avengers were able to situate the Mind Stone in there, and it made something completely new and better
and awesome.
I know you haven't seen Ultron, Kaylee. Ultron is basically, if Vision and Ultron are two artificial intelligence, they both became self-aware through one means or another. Ultron decided that self-awareness meant humanity needs to go, and Vision thought that self-awareness meant humanity needs to be studied. They're fascinating. And that's how we got the Vision, basically.
And we love Vision. So
I can't wait to watch your reaction video to Age of Ultron when you start putting all the pieces together that you learned in this show, you're going to be like, oh, there it is.
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know how I'm gonna be for it in the future. I love doing reactions, but it takes forever to edit them. And like this week, I haven't been able to get them up, mostly because I've had work, and also then my computer decided to die on me. But I saw some other people before that have done like live videos.
I was going to say, maybe you could do a live, or you could
like what we're doing next week.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can just do like some people just do like tweets.
Live tweeting, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I think a live show would be fun, and that would probably be the route I go in the future. Maybe, but anyways, that's in the future. But whoever's here, I'll just say it, and we'll say it again at the end. But we are planning to do a live watch of the finale next week, and I'm hoping Tim and Katie join me again, and we're gonna have some of our other friends from YouTube that are coming on, and we're going to try to get that together where we all are kind of watching it at the same time. I feel like it's going to be organized mass chaos, but like everyone's gonna be like, but we're gonna try really hard to make it work, and it should be a lot of fun regardless. So stay tuned for that.
The worst will be if like one person gets 2 seconds behind and we're all like, no, and then one person's like, what happened?
Yeah, like I don't know how I'm gonna try to brainstorm how it's gonna work out tomorrow.
We'll talk.
We're doing the Disney watch party, right?
Yeah, there's a Disney group watch function that we're gonna try to use, but it's doable. We'll figure it out.
For people who are not who are gonna watch it, who are not in the chat with us but are gonna watch it, I saw one person today, and I don't know, so I can't really put the video on here for multiple reasons. Number one, I don't want to get copyrighted, and it will for putting the whole episode up here. But I think we'll just kind of say when it starts, maybe, like, and someone had like a timer. I'm gonna see if I can get a timer to go on there to kind of let you guys know where we are in the episode. But basically, it could just be chaos. But either way, we're gonna have a good time, and that's fun, you know. So, James Spader. Who's James Spader?
Voice of Ultron.
Yeah, Voice of Ultron.
Oh, okay.
Which was, I think, an interesting cast for Ultron back in the day. Like it was almost like we have feelings about it.
It's not the strongest of the Marvel movies, but I say this with extreme caution. I don't believe there are any bad Marvel movies in the MCU at this time. There are some that I do not like as much, but there are some that
there are stronger ones, obviously, than others, but they all fit.
Even Ultron
pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, it's a fun, still a fun superhero.
And it's very important. You can't just skip it. But I think the hype around the first Avengers movie and Loki and everything it didn't meet the same level, unfortunately.
Well, I won't spend too much time on this. The first Avengers movie was a perfect merger of everything that you had to have seen in all the other movies. So like Iron Man and Jarvis and Captain America and Nick Fury, like all these different components from all these different films, like just picking something out of nothing. I'm thinking like Loki came from Thor. All right, he's the bad guy of Avengers. And then Captain America's theme music is woven into the score, and how he interacts with the world is because of this experience in Captain America. And like it all merges so perfectly that I don't think they could do it twice. The second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, is basically, for lack of a better descriptor, it's basically a direct sequel to the first movie. There's no building that goes into the second one like there was the first one. Yeah. So
anyway,
all of that just to get my feelings out about Ultron, nothing to do with what we're actually talking about.
I was gonna read one of Morgan's comments, but really quickly, Steve, if you were still on the chat, and anyone else who actually has not watched any of my reaction videos and are kind of confused about why I'm such an idiot, I have not seen anything except for Captain America, Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and Avengers, like way back when it first came out. So I'm sorry. This is why I have Tim and Katie on the show, because they are awesome and they actually know what they're talking about.
I honestly think it makes it fun because now anyone with context can join the chat and enjoy it because there's.
Yeah. I mean, the most important thing is to have seen WandaVision.
Yes. Which I mean,
Yes.
some
If
people
you're not
should
watching
be here.
WandaVision, then why are you here?
I mean,
Thanks for the support. Don't leave.
I mean, Allie was a guest on my show last week, and she's actually not seen WandaVision, but she has seen all things Marvel. And I was like, but why did you want to be a guest on this show this week? But she's sweet, and I'm so
Also,
happy.
she's seen all things. Why isn't she watching WandaVision?
I don't
wanna
know.
throw you under the bus. It's just amazing, and you should watch it.
You should. I love Allie.
Well, if Dan is watching our live chat at any point in the future, he just gave up Disney Plus today.
I know, Dan. We're calling you out, buddy. You just canceled it, and that was a shameful thing to do.
Without touching the MCU or WandaVision. And I am offended on behalf of Marvel.
Okay, so let me see. I wanted to get on a really quick topic that is a little outside of WandaVision, but I wanted to make sure there were no other questions before we got into that little side note. And Jen says, my husband thinks Agatha could be working with Nightmare since he is linked to Doctor Strange too.
That's a good theory.
I thought briefly, like very, very briefly, that Pietro could be Nightmare in disguise, because Nightmare is basically there's many vampires in the Marvel universe, but Nightmare is basically an energy vampire of sorts. He like feeds on emotions and feelings of people around him. And one of the things the little kid said that stuck more with me after doing some research, but definitely kind of like
sleeping all day.
Yeah, he's like, he sleeps all day. He only goes out at night. You think he's a vampire, don't you? And I'm like, but I don't know about that now. I think
that's an idea.
It could have just been one of those, like, I think they've been leaving purposely little like red herring breadcrumb trails that go to nowhere just to keep everyone on their toes. And I think that was one of, and Demon Spawn could very well be that too.
I'll be so mad. I'll be so mad if Demon Spawn.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like though you have to like, I think red herrings are great.
Oh, they are.
Like, but like, for example, what we were talking about earlier, like the episode with Pietro, and like you really focus on Pietro. And then you have Agatha, that scene with Agatha. It's like things like that where it's like to divert your attention. Like that I like, but like it has to me, it has to have at least something, like it has to make sense. But I don't know. MCU can do what they want to do. But yes. Jamie says that she hopes episode 9 is like an hour and a half long. I do too, and I hope
it could honestly be.
It could be.
I think it's definitely going to be over.
Yeah, it's definitely a double episode. It's not happen 30 minutes. There's no way.
I was just thinking about. Excuse me. I was just thinking about earlier. If you guys have not been here since the beginning, we were talking about how Katie cried twice during the episode, which I don't blame her. I didn't cry, but a very emotional episode. And Tim had to pause it. Well, I mean, I tell you, I don't know how we're gonna do our live show. And Katie's like, hang
on.
No tacos. That's what's gonna make the difference.
No, I mean, yeah, the tacos were really good, but they didn't make me cry. It was Vision talking.
Yeah.
We'll just take it for the team and cry off screen.
Wanda's,
if we have to.
Getting to see Wanda. Anyway, anyway, it was someone commented a while back. It was a very emotional episode, and that is why I cried.
Yes.
He's usually the crier, like more than me, but I don't know. It hit.
Yeah. Emotionally compromised.
What day are we doing the watch party? The plan is Friday night. Yes. That's the plan. So hopefully that works out for everyone to join us. We're planning on having a pretty full house. Of course, things can happen, and we might have some people that can't make it, but everyone said that they should be able to make Friday night. So that's our plan right now. Are we
going to do a debrief after the episode is over?
I think it only makes sense to talk through our emotions.
We are going to
be a nice long live stream. Hour and a half episode followed by 2 hours of debrief.
Let's see if we can get the director and the producer to join so we can just like shout our feelings at them.
If you guys watched last week's live, it went like almost 3.5 hours. Sorry. And I told Tim and Katie, I'm like, I won't torture you guys that much. If you guys need to leave, just like you can leave. But
water bottles.
Yeah, we have
They came prepared. They came prepared because they know how extreme this is. But basically, next week, I don't know how long it's gonna go. We're gonna watch the episode, and then if some people need to leave, then they can. But we are planning on doing. I mean, it makes sense to me to just go ahead and we're gonna talk.
We
about
can't
it.
just be like, well, that was something.
Yeah.
See you. Maybe see you tomorrow. We'll wait a whole day. And
I have nothing to talk about after watching that.
It's just like as soon as the credits roll, we're like, okay, that was great. Let's see you next week.
Well, that was
no, but really quickly. Wait, Morgan says, "OMG, I had a pee so bad."
I feel you. I feel you.
Yes, I know it's quite a time. And then you're drinking water, and you're like, okay. Now, so Morgan. Speaking of Morgan. I love you, Morgan. Don't think I'm picking on you. I love you to death. But Morgan, every single week in the comments, or as last week she was live with us, she loves to bring up the great Thor debate about whether or not Thor is a good movie.
Okay. Remember I said a while back there are stronger ones than others, and I definitely think in terms of the hierarchy, the first Thor movie falls towards the bottom, but I mean that's where we meet Loki, guys. I mean, sorry,
yeah,
only Loki fan here.
The highlight of
specifically Dark World is the one that people say. I don't know.
Now I'm a huge Chris Eccleston fan, so him in the Dark World was amazing. I don't know.
We have the most unpopular opinion of the entire Marvel continuity here.
Yeah.
We both really liked Thor: The Dark World. I liked it on a basis of had more action, had more like Marvel style comedy, and like it was a better balance that was similar to Avengers than the first Thor movie.
Now I do like Ragnarok a lot too.
And I don't like Ragnarok.
Tim doesn't like Ragnarok because
it's too funny.
It's too goofy or whatever for him. But I think the first Thor movie, the reason why people are like meh about it is it's really like it's really more of like a fantasy movie, more so I would say, than like a superhero movie. So if you kind of like back it up and be like, okay, this is, we're talking like, gods and fantasy kind of stuff and not, superhero. It definitely doesn't have the same flavor as, Iron Man or whatever, which is, Iron Man's probably, I think the first, I go back and forth, but I think the first Iron Man movie is probably like my, like bread and butter of the Marvel universe. I know it's the first one, but like.
I agree, Katie. I agree.
You Cap over here.
I think so, but but Thor is definitely, I definitely think it's a weaker one, but is it a bad movie? I mean, I can't say it's bad.
They typically, I feel like Morgan feels like she has to throw a jab at Thor every single live chat.
The thing is, like,
poor
you have to see how he grows, though. I mean, we start out with, Thor that's, oh, I have to throw on screen. Throws his mug down. I'll have another. Like, he's such a jerk. And then, by the time you have to see that Thor to really appreciate.
He still is in Avengers a little bit.
Yeah, and he's still growing. And then by the time we get to, he's making friends with like raccoons, and he just wants. Even like fat. I do agree that I think fat chubby Thor is best Thor, but that's because he started as this character, and then he had to develop and grow into. The Thor that everyone loves, who cares about his friends. And
I've been reading ahead on Christina's comments too.
So yeah, she thinks the first Thor was more
cares about his brother too.
She is not I saw that in the last live chat.
Oh yeah, I do remember
Christina,
that.
we need to have
Like
we need to have a talk about your feelings. Why is it that Natalie Portman bothers you so much?
I don't have any particular feelings.
I think it's because of Star Wars. I think
I think it is.
Okay, yeah. If we're going to talk about bad movies, we can talk about the remake. Oh, not the remakes. What are they called?
The prequels.
Prequels. The Star Wars prequels.
And some of the sequels.
Unpopular opinion. I liked the prequels.
The thing is, like, I don't know. I think I just.
There were things that were fun about them.
Well, I didn't know. Okay, and this is. If you've not seen Star Wars, it's not really a spoiler, but so I watched, and I didn't know until the third prequel that Anakin was going to be Darth Vader, and I was so
I knew
upset.
that one. I didn't know Palpatine became the Sith Lord. That missed that.
Ugh.
That was the same
that messed me
actor.
up.
That was cool.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that because I watched the originals as a very young child, and I
That's what went wrong.
I didn't grow up in a Star Wars. Like, my dad was a big sci-fi fan. He loved Star Wars. He was more of a Star Trek person, but definitely loved Star Wars. And, you know, he took my siblings and I to see the original movies in theaters when they did like promotional re-releases. So I saw them. I'm very proud to say I've seen it. Well, okay, at some point I had seen every Star Wars movie in theaters. I did miss the Han Solo movie and Rogue One, seeing them in theaters. But every like official Star Wars episode, whatever, I have seen in theaters. But anyway, yeah, I think the thing that ruins the prequels for me is that gosh darn Jar Jar Binks. I hate him so much. He's so
Really?
Well, I
liked him because I was like in middle school, and I
liked him too. He was funny.
I was so like,
Misa.
I love Jar Jar. He was actually my favorite character in the first one. When I first saw
I'm
it.
so sorry. I'm thinking
No. I really am fine with it, Kate. Because if I rewatched it, I bet I'd probably feel the same way. But I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But really quickly before we move on, since I'm picking on Morgan, earlier in the chat, me and Katie were talking about Spider-Man. I think I asked Katie what her favorite character was, and we talked about Spider-Man. So last week, Morgan threw a bombshell at me, and you may agree, you may disagree. I feel like you're going to disagree. I could be wrong. But she said, in her opinion, that Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man, and that she did not like Toby Mcguire, apparently because she had been scarred as a child somehow. I don't know. But my opinion was that I love Tom Holland. I actually haven't seen any of his movies as Spider-Man, other than his, like, I saw a scene of him in Civil War. But Toby Mcguire is like my baby for Spider-Man. Like, I will fight to the death for that man as Spider-Man.
So,
I mean, it's okay if you disagree with me, Katie. I'm not trying to kick you off the chat.
No,
I kicked Morgan out for saying Andrew Garfield last week.
I do need to get like the feelings about Spider-Man out, because Spider-Man. So Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I don't think that Tobey Maguire himself was the best Spider-Man, and I think part of it is not his fault, because he was old when they and I didn't realize it at the time, because as a kid, high schoolers do look like 40-year-olds to you. Like, you don't realize how young they actually are. So especially like the guy who plays like Flash Gordon, like that guy is, you go back and watch it and you're like, this guy is, and I think they are college age in Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Or no, they're high school. They're on a school bus.
They're high school, yeah.
But anyway,
they're just out of high school.
They're just out
but they're still like, an 18-year-old does not look like that. But anyway, that's past the point. But part of it, I don't think was his fault. I think he was just kind of like a little bit old to be Spider-Man. But I do really appreciate the old Spider-Man movies, and I do love them, except for Spider-Man 3. That movie can die.
It wasn't my favorite, but
I saw it once in theaters, never saw it again, and I never plan to watch it.
It's not a great movie,
I love
but
Spider-Man.
I do love it.
Of the Tobey Maguires,
I've seen it, but I don't.
The best, because I like Doc Ock a lot, and I thought his, like, the fight on the train and all that stuff was great. But anyway, yeah, we have to acknowledge the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire in them, because if they didn't come out and they weren't successful, I don't think we would have had the Marvel universe that we have today, because besides like the Batman movies and, like, you know, Batman 89 and those, like, even though they had like their kind of like niche audience, I don't think that they resonated with everyone. I think comic book fans really like them. I know Tim is a huge fan of most of those movies, some maybe not so much. And then we had, like, you know, the Christian Bale Batman movies that were like dark or whatever, but that was like, Spider-Man movies were like the first, like, hey, this is a superhero movie, and they did so well, and I think that's why we have what we have now. I think I wish Andrew Garfield had gotten a chance to stay Spider-Man, because I do think he was a really good Spider-Man, and I appreciated that he was a teenager, or at least looked like one. He's so baby-faced. So was Tom Holland. And I did really like his movies, and it was nice to see like Gwen Stacy in them, even though
Mixed feelings on Emma Stone.
Well, I like Emma Stone, but I think if they were going, I do like that each one of them has been different. Like no one tried to be anyone else, and they were all different Spider-Man, and that's why I mean, Tom Holland's different, and I also just really like Tom Holland. I just like that he has such a big.
I love Tom Holland.
So sweet and so like British, and I just think he's just adorable, and I love those like memes where it's like Tom Holland looks like he always has a frog in his mouth because it's just the way he like hold, and then he makes fun of himself and everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I've been on a really long rant about Spider-Man. Sorry guys.
It's okay. No,
It's actually the perfect thread to tie us
Wow,
back.
that was so bad.
No, but for real, it's actually, so this is, I think, pretty widely known. I don't know if everyone has been as psychotic about Googling Marvel stuff as I have, but so WandaVision and the Multiverse of Madness is going to set.
Pause. I'm sorry.
I saw. No, you go ahead.
Christina.
Some strong opinions.
Christina. Okay. Do not put Toby with Natalie. Okay. There's a line.
I mean, one of those actors has won an Oscar, I think. Not that the Oscars are the be all and end all, because honestly, they can go, the Oscar people can go, get hit by a bus for all I care, for all the different snuffs that they've done. I could name like a billion. But anyway, I think is actually
She's a semi-talented actress. She just.
I think he's like, okay, to be fair, I have not seen the movies in a very, very long time, but I grew up with these movies, and I owned the first one on VHS. Like, I still have that VHS. It literally has, I believe, I don't know if it has him and MJ kissing on it or not, but that kiss scene was enough for me.
It's iconic. It's that anytime you see somebody, it is the Spider-Man kiss. It's iconic.
Yeah. But no, I loved it. I mean, personally, I'll forgive you, Christina, but I mean, that hurt my heart a lot.
Gonna need some recovery time.
I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you, Tim. I really am. But
No, it's fine. It's still relevant, because
yeah.
I was gonna say WandaVision is setting up Multiverse of Madness, but I also believe it is setting up Spider-Man 3, which was just 2 or 3 days ago announced as being No Way Home, because Andrew Garfield and Toby Mcguire both have been spotted on the set of Spider-Man 3.
Yay!
So yes, we don't know what capacity they're going to be, and the directors have been like trying to sweep it under the rug like real quick, like, oh, they're just in for a little cameo, but most everyone feels, especially since Jamie Foxx from Amazing Spider-Man 2 and what's his name, Dr. Octopus?
Oh, Alfred Molina.
Yeah, Alfred Molina from Toby Maguire's Spider-Man 2. Octopus. Both of those people have been billed as being part of the film too. So we're all like, yo, there's going to be a multiverse battle. We don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know how many people are going to be involved in it. We don't know whether or not it's the main plot or just something fun that they're doing, but it's happening. So, and then Sony kind of blew the lid off the thing by, they apparently at some point put out to their like Japanese Twitter, like, you don't have to choose between your 3 favorite Spider-Man because they're all together now. And then they pulled it down later, but that hit the internet in a hurry. And then everyone was like, Toby Maguire. So
yeah, I'm excited to see. I think that would be so cool. I bet Tom Holland is under so much stress right now. If you guys, I know you have probably seen, he cracks me up. I will watch just like his media stuff, and And they always send someone with him on media because he's like me. Like, I would be that way. I'd be the biggest blabbermouth ever. And I told last week, I'm gonna tell it again. I'm sorry if you were on the chat last week, but the part, he's doing a live Facebook thing, and he's looking at a poster, and he's like, "Oh man, this is the new
That's
poster
my
for the
favorite
movie.
moment.
It's so cool." And on the back, it's saying, "Do not show
Do not show
anyone,
it.
confidential." And then he turns it around. He's like, "Oh crap!"
That's
Like,
funny.
he would have been like the worst actor to have on Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones would have got ruined if Tom Holland would have been on it, because he just can't. Bless his little heart.
He
don't
literally
know. They mark out everything except for the lines in the script.
he only knew his parts in Infinity War and Endgame. He didn't know anything else. So he's like, I can't. I mean, obviously, you still spoil things that he was in, but he's like, as far as like the rest of it, I don't even know, because they didn't tell me, because I apparently spoiled it. He's just so cute.
I know. Bless his little heart. He's just
so
and
sweet.
I remember I saw one of him and Benedict Cumberbatch, and he was like, let's just
Yeah, like, we're gonna skip past that question.
No, my favorite part of that whole interview was when they're addressing him, right, in that interview, like, Tom, tell us about this. And he goes, "That's an interesting question." And then Benedict, "I'll answer it."
They like purposely
gotta send him with a
we're
babysitter.
gonna send him with you on the media. Like, I'm sorry, you do not have media clearance anymore. Do not talk to anyone. Do not do Facebook Lives. Do not do anything. Like, just save your trailer.
I see a comment about him doing the Umbrella song and dance. Yeah, the fact that he's a dancer, still just more love for you, Tom Holland. I have seen that video multiple times. It's amazing. Yeah.
I have not. I'll have to watch
that's your homework.
Umbrella,
Tom Holland. It'll pop up immediately, and you will not be disappointed.
I'm not be disappointed. All right. Well, I think we have finally caught up on the comments because I got a little slow. But yes.
Well, wait. We still have to address Christina's hatred of Natalie Portman.
It doesn't sound like we're going to change her.
I mean, Christina, to be fair, Morgan, Christina, and April all kind of ganged up on the whole Toby Mcguire thing. So let me.
There's definitely a little. Pack.
Yeah, a little pact over there against Toby Mcguire. Let me just say really quickly before we get back to WandaVision, because I promise this show is actually about WandaVision. But yeah, I mean, I still love him, and I was gonna say this earlier, and we kind of I know we were trying to get back on track, but I think a big reason I liked the characters in that show more, or in the movies more, and it just felt like I liked that kind of storyline, I guess. Like, I liked the MJ Spider-Man, where Spider-Man was in that storyline versus like Andrew Garfield's storyline. I can't speak about Tom Holland because I actually haven't seen those, but I liked the actual storyline better personally. I liked MJ better. I think Gwen Stacy. I have mixed feelings about Emma Stone. I know Katie said you liked her, and I know Morgan loves her. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just have mixed feelings about her. And I love it's not James Franco that's in it. Is it Dave Franco?
No, it's James.
James.
Yeah,
Dave
older Franco.
Yeah.
I love James Franco in it. I do. I mean, I'm and that might be biased because I personally love the Franco brothers, and I have this bias towards them for some strange reason. But I just love all the actors in those movies. And
I mean, Willem Dafoe did a great job as Green Goblin, I think. Like, he was, I mean, I saw
he was great.
It was 2002. I was 10 years old. I mean, he was scary, but he was a good villain. And I really like Octopus and Alfred Molina as in that role. I like that a lot. I wish they had done Venom better in the third. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
the first two.
If you unpack Spider-Man 3, I'm going to be sitting here throwing a temper tantrum about how much fun it is and why everyone should leave it alone.
No, we should.
Tim is like, I'm like that with Toby, and Tim's like, no, leave Spider-Man 3 alone. Morgan says though. Wait, hang on. April says, wait. I love Natalie Portman.
Oh wait.
Okay.
Oh,
So she's not
pleasing the masses.
Yeah, I know. Which I have mixed feelings about Natalie Portman personally. I don't love her, but I don't hate her. I'm just kind of in the middle. Morgan said she loved Zendaya as MJ. I felt like I was gonna sneeze. I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but I do like Zendaya. She was in
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman, and I liked her a lot in that.
And other stuff, I assume. I honestly haven't seen.
She was in a show when I was growing up. I think it was called like Shake It Up or something on like Disney Channel. That was like towards the end of my career watching Disney Channel. So because that was my career as a kid, as I would just watch Disney Channel.
I mean, those Disney Channel original movies were that was some good stuff.
I have one reaction I literally have like done for one of those that I wanted to start doing reaction to DComs, and I haven't had the time. But yes, love DComs. Anyways, let's get back to WandaVision. I'm gonna keep that comment up. And Morgan did agree with me though. It was Shake It Up, so I was correct. Okay, so getting back to WandaVision really quickly, is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on for WandaVision? Anything that we did not talk about? Any predictions for next week for the finale?
I think we kind of touched on it already, but I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents on the last words of the episode. Well, before the credits. When it says it means you're a Scarlet Witch. Because
that was cool.
That was I mean, there were many, as we said, emotional moments in this episode that stuck with us, but one of the things that like really gave me like spine tingling chills was her saying Scarlet Witch, because up until this point we have not been able to call her that.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to call her.
She was the deal that Disney made with Fox in order for them to have their version of Pietro and Marvel to be able to have Wanda and Pietro in their story was Fox can use Quicksilver, but they can't call him Pietro. And that was Evan Peters. And then Disney can use Pietro and Wanda interchangeably or both, didn't matter, as long as they never called them Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and never mentioned mutants or Magneto, their father. So
that still blows my mind about Magneto.
Yeah. The fact that they have now said in the show, this, in my opinion, in addition to, potentially calling Wanda out as a Nexus being, which would give her all kinds of powers she's never had in this universe before, the main thing that I was super excited about at the end of the episode was this is Disney/Marvel making a huge statement that we can do anything. Nothing is off limits anymore. We are Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
That was, the fact that, and she also dropped the word, the chaos being, right?
Yes, chaos magic.
Chaos
something
magic.
That's a whole extra layer to the MCU that's not been touched on, except kind of loosely in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So chaos magic, and that is another pointer towards Mephisto too, because even if he doesn't appear in this series, and I would accept it if Agatha was like defeated temporarily and shrunk back to the nether realm, and then like the post credits on this whole series was like her walking into Mephisto's library. It's like, sorry, boss, I tried. That would be fine. But
they could totally do like a cut to Mephisto, kind of like, oh well, sorry, Haley, to kind of like in the like when we were Thanos introduced to Thanos, like whatever, 5 movies before we ever
Mephisto.
Like there he is. That could be, and that because there's definitely, they're going to leave it. They're going to leave us with a cliffhanger of some sort, but it's going to be a cliffhanger that sets up whatever. They're going to leave us with the typical, because there's been one in almost every single Marvel movie to a point. Like the next, you watch after the end credits, or they started doing the mid credits because I think people were getting mad they were leaving and missing it. And Marvel started doing this before the age of, it's on YouTube anyway, so why do I care? But anyway.
And Pirates did it first.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Were you there?
I was there, but I was thinking the same thing.
That we used, and it still blows my mind for like the Pirates movies, and there's still probably people like this for Marvel. People would leave, like it'd be like we get seeing the 4th Pirates movie, and people would leave, and I'm like, oh my god, do y'all like not know? And me and my mom and like there'd be like 2 other people in the theater, we'd be sitting there, and I'm like, how do people not know there's something at the end?
It'd be that cool thing though if you like went back to school the next day and you were like, but did you watch the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Some people would be like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
well, yeah, and back
and this was like before you could
yeah
on YouTube, so
it was just like
stink.
You could see. Okay, the YouTuber had a question for us. What is your favorite episode of the show? And everyone who is still here, who wants to leave a comment, I'd also be interested to see in the comments. What is your favorite episode? I don't know. Let me think. Do y'all know off the top of your head?
I mean, it's hard to pick out because probably my favorite like Wanda focused episode was probably this last one, just because it was such an emotional roller coaster deep dive, and then the whole like Scarlet Witch thing at the end. But I think probably second, like my favorite, like, you know, stepping outside of the WandaVision device story was the we now interrupt this program or something, where we, you know,
cut outside to
cut outside. Honestly, I can't even keep track. Like, I don't even know how many episodes we've watched. I feel like I couldn't even remember. Like,
Yeah.
I did like that. I also did like the one that made me laugh was the Malcolm in the Middle style. At least I probably could pick out like my favorite opening was probably the Malcolm in the Middle style, because I just thought it was funny, and the talking to the screen.
Yeah, the Halloween episode was really
memorable. You know, the Halloween episode.
That was the twins talking.
Yeah, when the Malcolm in the Middle.
I liked that.
That Frankie Muniz would always be talking to the screen and narrating like what's going on. So the fact that like Billy and Tommy are doing that is definitely a callback to Malcolm in the Middle, which I thought was super cute.
Yeah.
Like the Halloween episode prior to this one, because as Katie said, this one is the most, like, this is the one that's going to stick with you the most until next week, when it will definitely be the finale. But this episode was very emotional. It had pulled all the right punches. It got you feeling things, and so therefore it will be the one that kind of sticks with us longer. But prior to this episode, I would say the Halloween episode was my favorite.
Maybe I take back my thing about
it was the biggest. Like, I would kind of almost think of it as like a mid-season, because the season is so short. Like, it's the high point of the mid-season is when Vision is like pushing through the hex, and I was literally on the edge of, I guess, the couch, like this, like.
Yeah.
Like, and it went on for like 5 straight minutes, where you could see him disintegrating, and you're like, you don't know if he's going to die in this moment. It could be awful. It could be the end of Vision. And Marvel could do that to us. I don't think they would, but they could do that to us at any time. So.
Yeah.
I also liked the kids being in their costumes that are
having powers. That was a big thing too.
And the kids definitely have powers, and they were like having the Halloween costumes they were in were definitely supposed to be callbacks to their next Avengers costume superhero personas. And seeing, I mean, come on, Elizabeth Olsen rocked that Scarlet Witch costume. She looked amazing. And Vision in the like unitard outfit was really funny. So yeah,
I think this episode was probably my favorite. But I liked the Halloween episode a lot. I liked the episode. I don't remember if it was the one before the Halloween, but it was the one where they sent in the like little helicopter thing, and they were trying to attack Wanda, unbeknownst to Monica, and she comes out and she turns all of Hayward's men.
That was big too. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments in this entire show. Like, I thought that was so good. So for me, I think that's really, but it is hard. I think most of the episodes, like, I wasn't crazy about the first 2 episodes, but I think
I can imagine you were just confused.
I was very confused. I was like, what did I get myself into watching this show? April says the pregnancy episode was her favorite.
That was a
I didn't
game
watch that
changer.
episode.
That was also the episode where I sank my teeth into the Mephisto theory because as soon as it was the twins and they named them
because when
Billy,
they named them, I can't remember if Tommy or Billy came out first.
I literally,
But
as
Tim
soon
was
as,
like, and then it was like, there's another one.
I
and
do
he's
that
like,
a lot. Have you noticed? That's my into pretty much everything.
Oh, you're gonna be so much fun next week.
I'm gonna be very loud and very annoying. Is what I'm gonna be.
It's okay. I'm
like the ooh person.
I'm already 100% sure it's going to be mass chaos, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's fine. And I mean, who cares? I mean, if people show up and watch with us, that's great. If not, we're all going to have a good time as long as no one's screen freezes and then they're like, what's going on?
If you're watching WandaVision, then you're already used to mass chaos.
I mean, and April says she has the Halloween WandaVision pops, and they are definitely her favorite costume choice. I'm sure you already saw this.
Bye.
Oh, that's cute. I love Tim's shirt.
I should get the other. Oh, we'll see it next week.
Yeah,
we'll show the other.
There's a lot of.
Do not spoil them for what is awesome and is coming next week with your shirts. Really quickly.
There has to be some hook.
Yeah, there has to be.
Come see the shirts.
The reason you're coming next week is to see Tim and Katie's shirts. That is the reason. We will have a shirt reveal. So you must wait. Morgan also asked, do you think we'll see Doctor Strange? And the YouTuber believes a cliffhanger that sets up Doctor Strange 2.
I think what do they call it? The it's not the
denouement.
Yeah,
when you
the
come
after
down
credit
after the
scenes.
climax.
I can't remember. There's like a name for. I call it after credit scene, but I think there's actually
Stinger.
Stinger. I think it's totally possible that the Stinger is Doctor Strange related, whether we actually see
I want it to be
Benedict
Mephisto.
Cumberbatch or not, but I think it's going to be directly related to the Doctor Strange movie. Yes, I would.
I told you earlier, I literally want it to be if he doesn't pop up in the show, which is fine. I would have lost all my bets, but I can live with that. I'm an adult male. I know how to deal with loss. If he doesn't pop up in the show and we don't get Mephisto in like the main storyline, then at the very least, please, Marvel, in the Stinger, Agatha storms in. We did our best. It didn't work out. We'll get him next time. And then Mephisto in his fancy chair.
Love it.
And that's fine. That'll be my Mephisto.
And that's our cameo that we're supposed to be.
Yeah, Doctor Strange gets enough screen time. We don't need more of him.
I like
Doctor Strange a lot, but I know him already. I want to see a new character.
The YouTuber requests that Tim does his Home Alone impression with his hands. Love it.
It's better with the sound effects, honestly.
It's better in like a real-time reaction to something.
Yes. Christina, yes, Pirates did do the post scenes. It was
all 5 of
every
them.
single one. Yeah. And
the first one was the one when the monkey goes back and grabs. And then it's not only is it an after credit scene, it's also a jump scare because you're like, duh.
Yeah. What was the second movies? Damaged Chest. What was the second one?
Second one ends with Barbossa coming down the stairs, right? So it's not that.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I can't either. I'll have to go back and look at it.
I can't remember.
I remember the third one. Wasn't the third one Will and Elizabeth on the island? Or was that in
Yes, the green flash.
Yeah. And like they had a son or something. I feel like that was post or something. And then because their son was singing. It started with their son singing. I'm pretty sure that was the post credit. And then I remember on the fourth one, it was Angelica being on the island. But I don't remember what the second movie was, and that's going to bother me. Christina said the Full House opening was her favorite.
That was a good one.
It was a good one. I think it was that one and then the Malcolm in the Middle one were like my 2 favorites.
Malcolm in the Middle is probably, I mean, we all watch Full House at some point or another, but Malcolm in the Middle, I feel like, is the one we grew up with.
Well, that was our
generation
that was airing
show.
when we were watching it. Yeah, so that was definitely...
That hit the emotional chords. Whoa, did we blow Christina's mind?
Yeah, we did. I'm glad you know this now, Christina. You gotta go back and watch. It like was so awesome. Like it was just, it changes your, I mean, it really shouldn't change it. I think the one that changed it, well, the first one with the monkey, that was in the plot later on. Like you would see the monkey and he was like cursed or whatever. And then the one with Elizabeth and Will's son, obviously that one was important. But I can't remember the fourth one was like whatever because she never came back. And then the second one was kind of I don't know. Apparently it wasn't that important. The Barbossa thing was I think the most important one in that movie. But anyways, going back to WandaVision, I don't have anything else I can think of for us to touch on. So do you guys have anything else you can think of?
I think we covered all our major touch points, but
there's always I'm gonna go to sleep tonight and be like, we forgot this.
I know. Well, we will have to put it on next week. That's like what I just held on to that, like feed on your magic, bro. I held on to that for
well, it came up full circle. So.
I know. I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna have to bring it up again and during this live chat. Morgan, you just need to leave the chat, girl. Unpopular opinion. I don't like pirates that much, and I think they could have stopped after one.
I think there are too many Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
I agree with that.
Agrees with me. I love the first one.
Well, I could keep watching Pirates movies forever. They're not all going to be as good.
I just think they are beating a dead horse, but and now they're like doing another. I mean, they're doing more with like the red I don't know. I just feel like I don't think it was meant to go on for as long as it did. But I do like the first two probably the best. I mean, I'm also a huge, Jack Sparrow fan, but yeah, I do think that they could have stopped and we all would have survived without five.
We do a whole other live chat just on Pirates movies, but at the end of the day, what kills me is the fact that Kaylee, you watched till the end credit scene of the last one, right? Where it's Will and
the
Elizabeth.
Fifth one.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen all of the fifth one, but you can tell me. I don't really care. I don't care. I don't mind.
Well, it's going to devastate you either way, whether you watch it or whether you hear about it.
Does Will die?
No.
Oh, okay.
Will and Elizabeth are both in the last movie.
Yeah.
Like a kind of cameo capacity. Will more so than Elizabeth. And then the end credit scene is Will and Elizabeth are asleep in bed and Davy Jones walks into their room.
Oh.
And you don't see him, you just see his like boots and his scales and whatnot.
His coral.
And they're never going to finish that thread because now they're like, nah, we're kind of done with that. Let's go ahead and do the red character. And that's fine. I'll totally watch more Pirates, but it's just like, it kills me a little bit that like they set it up perfectly and then there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Usually
we just need to have a chat because she has many unanswered questions over the years. We do. Tim and Katie.
I need to rewatch some Pirates movies because
we're gonna have.
Yeah.
Tim and Katie are just gonna be on retainer for life. We're just gonna like anytime you're free, just text me and be like, "Hey, I'm free this Friday or Saturday." I'm like, "Cool, let's do a Pirates chat. Let's do."
We just have so much movie talk to share.
I know. I'm sorry, Katie.
I'm tired of us.
No, that was it. I mean, I've got through everything I had to say.
Oh, I thought Katie was saying something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying our friends are tired of us talking about our.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't have.
With this one, but they're replacing Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depot.
They're placing Johnny Depp with Johnny Depot. No one will ever know.
I know, and I think that's tragic, and I won't go into that whole.
Yeah, I can't unravel that. That could be a whole. We could talk about that in a separate chat.
Yes, but if you are curious, if you are still
hashtag justice for Johnny.
Yes. Go and look up Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and the craziness that's going on there, and I think the total hypocrisy also that's going on there. And little side note, I'm also devastated that they're taking him away as Grindelwald because devastated. Okay.
So mad.
That's
100%.
So many feelings. Okay.
Yeah. I'm seeing red.
So before we end it really quickly, I'm just gonna ask Tim and Katie, what is coming up on your channel, or kind of like what are your plans? Obviously, next week you're gonna be here with me, having a fun time. But do y'all have anything else coming up on your channel that you want to talk about?
We do. So tomorrow we're assuming the weather holds out, which is should. It's going to be blotchy, but we'll make it. We're going out on another nature-esque journey tomorrow. We're actually doing a double trip to 2 different cave systems in Pennsylvania, which should be really cool. Hopefully we get footage that's usable, because I imagine it's going to be pretty dark. But
A
that's
real
something,
test for our new camera that's supposed to be better in low light.
we're always trying to do new things rather than things that we've done a million times before. So like this is just something that's been close by to us that we've heard about that we've not done yet, and we figured that there's no time like the present. So that's what our channel is all about. And then we are going back to Disney in about a month. So we'll have plenty of new content coming from Disney then. I do apologize to everyone who subscribes to our channel right this second. You'll see a whole bunch of shorts that we're using as filler.
That's what I need to be doing. I just don't put content on.
We did that for a while, and then I was like having a panic attack, and then I started putting shorts out. No
worries.
They're little bursts of memories for us, so we like them for the growth tool as well as for the looking back on what we've done previously. But we are doing more stuff in the next couple of months that hopefully will translate to some really nice vlogs. We're also going to a very cool resort nearby us that we found by accident and looks amazing, like almost Disney level in terms of weird theming that you wouldn't think belongs in this area. So that should be cool as well. There's lots of cool stuff coming as the end.
We're finally getting out of the endless winter and hopefully can do some more.
The winter was rough for adventures, but we're doing more definitely now as it's getting warmer in our area and there's more to do.
But yeah, if you haven't checked out our channel, we do have several videos from trips in 2020. If you want to live vicariously through some of our travels, as we do with many of other viewers. So,
their channel is in the link down, or in the link down below, is linked in the description down below. Morgan wants to know what cave y'all are going to.
Two cave systems. Pen Cave is the cool one, which is either actually it's a flooded.
They're both gonna be cool.
They're cool, but
that one's unique.
There's a flooded cave called Pen Cave, which I'm really looking forward to. The tour is entirely done by boat, so we have a reservation booked for a boat tour, and then
Indian Echo.
Yes, Indian Echo Dell Caverns is the other one. That's very near to Hershey Park. So what Kaylee was talking about earlier about all our Hershey Park vlogs, Hershey Park is about an hour away from us. So we're season pass holders there. We go there very often. And as soon as they open up, we'll be back there this season.
Sorry.
Hey, a fellow Maryland.
Yep, and she says she's from Harford County, and so is Morgan. So like same little area.
Yeah, we're making new friends every day.
Yeah, Morgan says
I've never been to either of these caves. I've mostly
that's gonna be good. Morgan, you'll really enjoy their thing. And the YouTuber says, thanks for the stream, Tim and Katie. You are too entertaining.
Yeah, that's so sweet. We had a lot of fun.
The YouTuber is always so nice and leaves really nice comments. But you two have definitely been such amazing guests. Also, hello to Disinfinity. You're coming in at the very, 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 very end of this, but I do appreciate you coming. And they say that they've missed Hershey Park and will have to go back. Like I mentioned at the beginning, Tim and Katie do really, really good Hershey Park vlogs. I've always wanted to go, and I watched their entire playlist, and it is so much fun. They do a great job. I really enjoy their vlogs. And I can't wait till they get to go to Disney and I get to see all those vlogs. That's gonna be awesome. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been such a fun live stream. Tim and Katie, if you'll hang out just for a second after I end, we'll just talk really briefly. But thank you all so much for coming, and thank you, Morgan, for letting me poke a little fun at you and like pick on you a little bit. Not really poke fun at you, but pick on you some, because we have such different opinions on everything. You know I love you. We're friends. Apparently there's a great Disney outlet near Hershey.
Well, that's news, and maybe we need to go there tomorrow.
You can have like a Connor S video.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a whole video for the first time.
And thanks, Morgan. Anyways, thank you guys so much. So again, next Friday, we will be doing a live reaction and then staying after to talk about the show. And then, I don't know, coming up, we're probably going to have a Pirates of the Caribbean live show because several of you guys have asked for that. So that'll be coming up soon whenever we can get our lives together and get together again. There's one in Arundel, Morgan says, for the outlet.
I didn't know that either.
So anyways, you
Nice
can
to
get
meet
with
you.
Morgan about the outlets. She apparently knows. But yeah, thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And I gotta end it, and I